Be subscribed. It's free. If you don't ask your son, ask your daughter how to. Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah. Before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You are laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam. Thank you so much. I can see you. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. This by the end of the year. How are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't ask your son, ask your daughter how to. Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your geographical location. I am your host, Oyinkolobio, aka Electricity. I hope you have a good weekend. This is the first broadcasting for today, Sunday. It's our usual Sunday service, first broadcast of the day. So, and you must have seen the topic, which is anger and revenge. Ahithophel. I'm gonna put the link there just in case I forget, in case those of you who want to jump into the platform to join the conversation, you can join and maybe carry the way. So to join the conversation. So yeah, you can see what's on the screen there. It's Julius Caesar friend Brute, Etu Brute. By interpretation, it means you Brutus. Literal meanings. Literal meaning means you Brutus, and also Brutus often translated as well. You as well, Brutus. You Brutus as well too, which are referencing to the betrayal of his friend Brutus that joined the conspirators against him. Now, why this Brutus issue? Most of us can identify with betrayal, which often leads to anger and revenge. And in that light, we will be looking at also uh, this here that says that we must apply the same principle and grammatical rules to the Bible and exercise common sense and reason with it as what as other books. Remember, this is from what? Shakespeare. The literal meaning of Brutus, etu brute, I beg your pardon, is you Brutus. And also can be said, also you Brutus is friend, is close friend. Above any other thing, more than any other person. And betrayal from close friends and family, it's more painful and hurtful, hurtful than a betrayal from an outsider. And you're familiar with the phrase that says that a man's enemy is among his own people. So that is what we're going to be dealing with today. Again, I'm going to highlight it for the purpose of the audience that we must apply the same principle and grammatical rules to the Bible and exercise common sense and reason with it as other books. Most people find that last difficult to agree with, in the sense that we cannot apply common sense or use common sense when dealing with the literature book called Bible. That is incorrect. That is also not consistent with what? With the scripture. And when you say common sense, the senses as organ of sense has to do with the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, palate, fingers, and the nervous system in general. So if you can see the reference there, Hebrews 4, Hebrews 5:14, but oftentimes it's good to read from maybe verse 12, verse 10 to 14. But the emphasis is on what? On 14 as well, to which tells us how we should use our senses when applying to the word of God. It should be exercised. Then we now apply it. Remember, it must be taken literally from what we are looking at. Then also, I go further to say the faculty to be angry is God created and perfectly sinless in itself. The misuse of it and all other faculties, what God condemns. Anger is allowed, what? It's allowed by the gospel, but not sin. Anger is allowed. You're allowed to get angry. So anyone who says you cannot get angry, or you should not get angry, or you shouldn't have been angry, it's the only time once anger is questionable, if there is no cause for it, then it can easily be concluded that you're a mad person if you're angry for no cause, for no just reason. If you're angry, like I said again and repeat, anger is allowed by the gospel, but not sin. You find that in Ephesians 4:26. The important part is this, okay, that we must see it. We must apply the same principle and grammatical rules to the Bible and exercise common sense and reason with it as what? As with other book. Now, it is not an amulet, a charm, fetish, or a book that will work wonders by its very presence. And you will recall that back, even some people still do it, they put it under their pillow or they hold it against their chest, thinking, if you've ever been, some of you have been in an aeroplane or sat by somebody who has a Bible with them, and you're experiencing turbulence. You see the way they clutch the Bible. I remember in one of my flight, my journey, and the guy sitting by me. Goodness me, the guy it's like his enemies were the ones shaking the aeroplane, and I was kind of wondering what's going on here. So it is not, and it's never be. It has to be used the way it should be used. But the focus here is the man called Ahithophel. And some of you who are used to the literature book called the Bible will be used to this story of Ahithophel and David. And it's David's friend, and not just friend, also a counselor. And some time back, up to now, people still pray, oh God, turn the counsel of Ahithophel, turn the counsel of my enemies into foolishness. We have to be very careful. Remember, we're talking about the power of pure, the power of what? Of pure, and not to entertain anger, which oftentimes leads to revenge. And like I said earlier, there has to be a reason for me to be angry at you. There's no reason for me to be angry, then I'll be classed as a mad man. And so there has to be a reason for it. So why was Ahithophel angry at David? And as such, when David heard that Ahithophel is one of the conspirators with his son Absalom, he prayed that prayer, and it should be a concern for everyone. That is why I said it has to be seen literally. If we don't see this book literally, then we're not gonna understand it. And that is the problem within the body, or with those who read or who teaches or preaches it. As a teacher, I'm telling you right now, you have to apply the same principle and grammatical rules to the Bible and exercise common sense, meaning that you ask questions. This thing doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why would somebody David would just tell, oh, I pray that God turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness. Whereby previously, before that time, there was one of Saul's servants who was stoning David, and cursing David. And David's servant said, "Should I kill him?" David said, "No, don't kill him. It could be the judgment of God upon him." So why is that one different from some? You just heard that, oh, I heard that Rudolph Okonkwo is coming to my place, and I pray, oh God, turn the direction of Rudolph Okonkwo somewhere else or whatever it is. So there has to be an underlying reason for that. Now, the power of pure, it's highlighted in three scriptures in the Bible, which is Psalm 15, Psalm 24, and Ezekiel 18. And I will emphasize on Psalm 24, which shall dwell in the, which shall stand in the hill of the Lord, he that hath a clean hand and what? And a pure heart. A clean hand and a pure heart. You can't have a clean hand without first and foremost having what? A pure heart. So we're dealing with purity here now. And if we walk in that path, trust me, I'm telling you, you'll pray less, or your prayer will be well directed. You will not need to be going. I'm not saying all night prayer is wrong, but what I'm trying to tell you is that one of the reasons why we get trapped in this spiritualism is because we don't see the Bible as a literal book. We need to see it as a literal book. If not, we will be trapped in this spiritualism that we experience, that we see happening in churches, particularly in Nigeria and Africa, because we've taken it beyond. And the argument that the white man gave it to us, let's argue that, let's say that is correct. You know why it works for them? Because they actually see it literally as it is, not spirituality and everything as we see back in Africa and what and in Nigeria, but in particular. So that is the reason why we have to deal with this thing, and that is the reason for this broadcast, which has I think I should read it. Either had a clean hand, Psalm 24, verse 5 and 6, verse 4, 5, and 6. That same person that have a clean hand and a pure heart will receive the blessing. And I got taken by that. So if all I need to receive blessing from God is to have a clean hand and a pure heart, if that is all it takes for me, if that is all it takes for you to receive a blessing from God, all you need to do is to have what? A clean hand and what? A pure heart. It makes this life easy. It makes understanding this book easy. It takes away this cloud of spiritualism that we've seen people have been drawn into, and is now causing confusion within that. So, but how do I get to that point to have a clean hand and what? And a pure heart? And that's where the story of David and Ahithophel, like and most other stories in the Bible, comes into play, because it's about dealing with relationship. And when I say relationship, I'm just not talking about husband or wife. I'm talking about in general, father to son, son to father, daughter to mother, in general, even from employee to employer. So every one of us can identify with anger, because if you say you've never been angry in your life before, then you need to be checked. We need to check you. If you are claiming you've never been angry, regardless of your belief, your religion belief, then you need to be checked. You need to be checked. So the issue of anger is applicable to every one of us. So David, Ahithophel. Ahithophel was a counselor and a friend to David. And David prayed, "Oh Lord, turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness." What did David did to Ahithophel as such? It got so bad when he heard that Ahithophel is not part of the conspirator, like the way Julius Caesar said, et tu, Brute. Et tu, none of us, most of us do not even know if this story Shakespeare, Julius Caesar is, but we take it literally for what it is. Whether it happens or not, we don't know. So you must take the Bible literally. For you to get a better understanding, you must take it literally for what it is. As a counselor to David, he gave David good advice. He never gave David a bad advice. And you will see why he got so angry and mad about it. As such, we have to be careful not to retain anger. Because by the moment time we retain anger in us, it oftentimes leads to what? To revenge. Now, without a shadow of doubt, we're going to have enemies. If we are not going to have enemies, Jesus Christ will not say, love your enemies. And unfortunately, this enemy can be your father, could be your mother, could be your brother, could be your sister. But for you to come to that point to say, I am your enemy, you must have a clear evidence to defend that. You don't just say somebody is your enemy. And even if it comes by way of even prophecy, which we are going to deal with, there has to be an evidence of that as well. To else you'll be creating enmity between two people. To be someone's enemy or to be addressing or for you to address somebody as your enemy, you must have a concrete a reason. If not, it will be a false allegation. And we know what false allegation does. It destroys people's what? People's life as well. To Comfort, thanks for joining. I know you'll come and torment me today. Good afternoon, Pastor Electricity. I forgive you, Comfort. So, good afternoon to you too. So, we must apply the same principle. So, why did David, Ahithophel, what did David do? Now, Ahithophel, when he heard that Absalom has taken over the kingdom, he quickly joined his government. But Ahithophel was not interested in with Absalom. Okay, let's take before I continue. So I beg to disagree with you that the Bible is not for literal consumption. What do you mean by that, please? If you don't mind, Asa. It's not for literal consumption. Could you clarify what you mean? You have to read it. You read books. So if you don't read it, how do you consume it? You have to read it literally. Anger. If you do you identify with anger? So this is have your say. It's a Bible study, but it's have your say. Thank you for that. You just posted the Bible is not Quran or other literature, but that you can use grammatical rules to study. The Bible is spiritual and highly not based on literality. The Bible is inspired in every line. This is thank you for that, for the clarification you just provided. Eso, it is a literature book, and you must apply the same grammatical rule. Let me put it up again. We must apply the same principle and grammatical rules to what? To it, and exercise common sense with it as other books. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, Eso. Do you identify with anger? Have you ever been angry with somebody else, or somebody has been angry with you? Do you mind answering that question for me? Please, Eso, if you don't mind. Have you ever gotten angry with anyone? Eso, if you're there, please. This is how you say. Like I said, we have you ever gotten angry with anyone before? Your disagreement is welcome on board, so we need to clarify this. Well, this is your. I will appreciate if you can say that for the benefit of those who are listening to us and will listen to us afterwards. Have you ever gotten angry in your lifetime? It's for your own good for you to answer the question yes or no, because people they've seen what you highlighted, Your disagreement is highlighted. Your clarification also has been highlighted. Good. Thank you very much for. I do. Anger can be holy. Elijah had holy anger towards Jezebel. Now, thank you for that. Let me bring this back up again when I say we have to apply. Here the scripture says, no, here is this. The faculty to be angry is God's created and perfectly sinless in itself. The misuse of it and all other faculty is what God condemns. Anger is allowed by the gospel, but not sin. So I'm going to ask you another question again. I said, do you agree that the misuse of it and all other faculties is what God condemns? Do you agree with that? Eso, do you agree with part two? Because part one highlighted your response. Do you agree with part two? The misuse of it and all other faculties is what God condemned. Please, if you don't mind providing me. Yes, because you said Jezebel, anger, because Elijah had only anger. Now, I need you to answer the question for me, please. Do you agree with part two of what is highlighted on the screen, that the misuse of it and all other faculties is what God condemns? Please, if you don't mind, please. Eso, I will appreciate if you can answer yes to no to the second part of what is on the screen, please. Agreed, Jezebel was angry. I mean, Elijah was angry with Jezebel. Whether it's only anger or not, I don't know. But he was angry. God gets angry himself. Then also, you said Jesus had holy anger. I don't know what holy anger means, but what I'm asking you is the part two of what is highlighted there, giving to your claim that. So, yes, the misuse of it is highly condemnable. So, the misuse of anger, could it, like this, I highlighted the issue of etu brute, that he stabbed Julius Caesar, or if you are angry sometimes, depending on your level of anger. Some people get angry and they destroy things and everything. The destruction is a literal destruction, because when people get angry and they break glasses and this and that, is that literal glasses or spiritual, if you don't mind me asking that, please? Also, is that if people, you've seen people get angry, I believe probably you must have gotten angry at a point and you threw the glass on the against the wall, so is that a literal thing or a spiritual thing? If you don't mind, could you clarify? Could you answer that for me, please, for the purpose of the audience? Could you kindly? So it's literal. Oh, wonderful! Miracles do happen. So now now we come back to this thing again that I said, that it must be taken. It must be taken. We must apply the same principle and grammatical rules to the Bible. Now, here again, I ask you: the stabbing of Brutus on Julius Caesar, is it literal? Yes, it is literal, even though we don't know about the story. You see, I'm not denying spirituality, but I'm telling you as a teacher that you must apply the same principle and grammatical rules to the Bible, and exercise common sense. And I did highlight here earlier, just because maybe you just joined, and I did highlight here. Where is it here? That this is it here again. No, sorry, here. Organ of sense, as the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, palate, fingers, and the nervous system in general. And I gave you a scripture for you to go check about it, where Paul argued that strong meat are for those who are by reason exercise their senses to be able to discern good or what or evil. Now, if you are a Bible scholar, because I don't know if you are, you read Bible history, that is a Chinese practice to exercise their senses. That is what Paul extracts to explain what it means to exercise your senses. And how do we exercise our senses? We will come to that. Well, let me go to, thank you for that. You answered the literal. I really appreciate you responding. So that means when you're reading it, you must apply the same principle and grammatical rules to the Bible. Wherein at all it is possible, you must apply it. But going back to the story, let me ask you this question. Uh, uh, also, for the purpose of the audience or viewers that will come to see it tomorrow or watch it later on, you've said anger is literal. So please stay with me. The story of anger, Ahithophel and David, as to why David. If you know why David Ahithophel was angry. In fact, let me put you on the spot. Thank you. Do you know also why Ahithophel was angry with David? A yes or no will suffice, just to save time. Do you know why Ahithophel was angry with David? Literal angry, because you said we should not mix yes, you should not, we should, what did you say here again? It's not like the Quran, or it is like the Quran, for crying out loud. But I'm going to highlight something here. It's like any other book, any other book. Just take it like that. It's going to help you. I'm being honest. Read it like any other book. Okay. So my question is, I'm asking you, do you know why Ahithophel was angry with David? Okay. You said no, can't remember precisely. Okay. When you say you can't remember precisely, that means you remember a bit. What is the bit that you remember, if you don't mind? Uh, what is the bit that you remember? Okay, because you see, we're trying to bring sanity. You and I and everyone who is going to watch this video is trying to bring sanity, because this issue of spiritualism is creating problem, because we don't see it as the literal thing. We don't read it literally, and that is why when they say Jesus walked on water, he literally walked on water. When he said he turned bread into what? I mean, he turned fish and bread into 5,000 fish and this and that. It's literally, I mean, there may be some spiritual distance there because it's a miracle, but it's a literal bread those people ate. Would you, I mean, you agree with me that they ate literal bread as it is? So, Henry, thank you for joining. You said David's story is fictional. We can argue that from now till thy kingdom come. But one thing we cannot deny is that there was an issue between David and Ahithophel. And as such, Ahithophel was angry and looking for a perfect time to take revenge from on David. Remember, we are talking about clean hands and a pure heart. Psalm 24, but I take it from Psalm 15, Psalm 24, and Ezekiel 18. If we follow these principles, then it says we will receive the blessings of God. It's going to limit certain spiritualism or certain running from pillar to pole, is to bring understanding and sanity to the life of people. You know what this thing is? So David prayed. To cut a long story short, David prayed to God to turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness. Ahithophel gave Absalom two counsel. One was confirming the judgment on David for what? For sleeping with somebody else's wife and killing the person's husband. Now, please, let's be realistic. That's why I said we have to take it literally as what? As it is. Or else we're going to be getting into. That is why I'm sorry to say, I know most people will want to stone me to death. The white man gave us, just for the purpose of argument. But you see, they look at it literally, and that is why things work for them. But because we spiritualize everything, things don't work for us. Take it to the market, I'm telling you. We spiritualize everything. Everything has been spiritualized. That's why things don't work for us. It does not work for us. Wijapa to come to a place where it works for them. In Nigeria, people key into these miracles because they want things to work for them, even though the economy does not even support anything. So you can say what I'm saying. You have to look at it literally. David slept with another man's wife. He abused his power. Okay. And each and every one of us on this platform, in the comment section, then we'll be able to identify, we will see ourselves. We will see, we will see ourselves. It may not align, it may not be the same pattern of story, but we will see ourselves in David, or we'll see David in us, whichever way you want to say, also Ahithophel in us. This is to prevent what happens. Romans 15:4. Whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. Our learning. So, good afternoon. Who is this? Can you tell us about your own ancestors or people from you that will never fix anything from us? I'm not. I'm not talking about easy. I'm talking about individuals. Udoka, what is about our ancestors? If you want to tell me, please tell me. Good day to you, Mustafa. Thank you for joining. So, you see, you don't have to necessarily believe it, like I keep saying. We can say Julius Caesar, Shakespeare is fictional, but we write it in exam. If they set it on the exam for you, you won't say it's fictional. You are not going to write it. You will buy the books. You will not say it's fictional that those stories are happen. You just have to read it. But don't let me digress. Now, here is what happened between David and Ahithophel. He gave Absalom two counsel for Absalom to sleep with what? With David's concubine in what? In the open. That is confirming the judgment of God on David for taking somebody else's wife and killing the person's husband. He said, you did yours openly. In secret, I will do mine in opudential. So that is the judgment. David never went scot-free. Okay, in respect to that, there was trouble in his life. The second one was equally a good counsel. Now remember, Ahithophel committed suicide as a result of his advice being rejected. So imagine, Henry, Eso, I advise you, for example, on an issue, and I refuse. You did not take my advice. I got angry and I went to commit suicide. What would you think? What would you say? How would you describe me? I'm asking you, Eso. No, Mustafa, I did not forget the question. The question about correct me. The question about Jesus Christ saying he was sent to the house, to the lordship of Israel. Am I correct in that? I did not forget it. I took a study of it. Okay, if that's what you're referring to, but just remind me again. Okay, I did not forget. I said this is for the purpose of us studying. So so just remind me again, please. I won't forget. So where did I stop? So the second advice was equally a correct advice. Remember, if you go through that scripture, it said when Ahithophel speaks, he speaks like who has gone to consult the oracle, meaning he gave David good advice. He was a good advisor and also a friend. But here is the problem. Here is the problem. Uh, Here is the problem between Ahithophel, which every one of us will identify with. Here was the problem. Ahithophel is the grandfather of Bathsheba, whom David committed adultery with, killed her husband, and subsequently married her. And those are references there. Now, Henry, every one of us on this platform, put yourself in the shoe of Ahithophel. And God forbid, your best friend, your counselor, your minister, whatever it is, sleeps with your granddaughter and subsequently killed her husband. What will you do, Eso? Particularly you, Eso, that I mean, thank God you've agreed that we should say you get angry. Listen, the anger is literal. What will you do if you can answer? I give you reference. I give you, well, I gave you reference, Eso. What will you do, Henry? What will you do? You said it's a fictional story. Will you also say that such thing does not happen? Betrayal, Henry? Henry, do you mind if you can answer that question? Because it's easy to stay behind the screen, and I believe I put the this thing there, the link there. So, Henry, would you say that this thing I lighted on the screen that you are reading does not happen? It's just a question, because you said it's, if I agree with you, it's all a made up story. Would you also say that betrayal is also a made up story? So you are saying, you just answered that betrayal is national among human beings. Thank you for that. So why then do you say that story is a fictional story? It never happened. Why then? Now, also, thank you for that. You said you will be angry, but don't know what the response will be. Thanks for your sincerity. And I appreciate it. So you're coming back to the you coming. So it is natural among human being, Henry. So these people I'm talking about, they are human beings as well too, who once lived here, because it is those who know you that will tell your story, or you will tell your own story. They call it biography or autobiography. So they will tell your story in the next maybe 20 years or 50 years after you die. The same response will be given. This Henry Gabriel story, Henry Johnson story is a fictional. It never happened. Maybe sometime, some years to come, maybe after we've passed away, they will talk about the story of Tinubu and Buhari and Donald Trump and everybody, or Hitler. Can we say Hitler's story is fictional? No, because people who lived at that time, and some of them are still living, I believe, during the Holocaust, whatever it is, are telling the story. But those people will die. The history is written down for purpose of history, and that's why I keep saying again, I'll go back to it again, that you must take it what literally as it is. That is it. You must apply the same principle and grammatical rules to the Bible and exercise common sense and reason with it as other book. So back to the issue again. Ahithophel, David slept. Ahithophel, I mean, sorry, uh, David, Absalom, I beg your pardon. Bathsheba was Ahithophel's granddaughter. Ahithophel's son, Ulai, and Uriah, and Joab, they are all in the same army. They are all military men for David. So they know each other. So it's a betrayal. They know. Joab know. Everybody knows that that is it. So, but Ahithophel committed suicide because he wanted to revenge. The focus is for us not to revenge. That is the main focus. And if we can deal with bitterness, because it's all about bitterness, we're going to have enemies. Don't get me wrong. Because as it is, Ahithophel and David are enemies. And that is why David prayed, turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness. He didn't pray against Ahithophel. Look at this, look at that statement very well. He never prayed against Ahithophel or prayed that God should kill Ahithophel or God should kill my enemy or let my enemy fall down and die. No, he said God turned the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness, because that counsel Ahithophel, he knows that whatever advice Ahithophel gives Absalom, the advice is correct. And the second advice he gave Absalom was absolutely correct, because David was at his weakest point in life. And he knows if he pursued David, he is going to catch him and he was going to kill him, because he wants to revenge what he did to his granddaughter and the granddaughter's husband. And we all can identify with betrayal, with anger. But we must not retain it, because he said, do not let any bitterness dwell in you. The retention of bitterness often lead to what? To revenge. We're gonna have enemies. Don't run away from that. But we have to deal with the anger ASAP. And as such, it says in Ephesians 4, it said, be angry and sin not, and do not let the sun go down on what? On your anger. Now, the question I'm going to ask is, when he said do not let the sun, also in particular, do not let the sun go down on your anger, is he referring to a literal sun or something spiritual? I think it's Ephesians 4:26, if I'm correct. Yes, I think I have it up there, somewhere there. Yeah, this is it here. He said, anger is allowed by the gospel, but not sin. Ephesians 4:26. He said, be angry. Be angry. You are allowed. It's here that the faculty of anger, the faculty to be angry, is God created and perfectly sinless in itself. He says, so be angry, but don't sin. Do not let the sun. So also, let me go to the comment again. The sun, the reference to the sun there, is it a literal sun or something spiritual? Also, I need you to answer that question, please. I will appreciate if you can answer the question for me. The sun reference there in Ephesians 4:20, is it a literal sun or something spiritual? Because you're more or less against something to be read literally. So, Eso, I know that sin of David, but didn't know that aspect of the grandfather of the lady involved. Okay, so I'm going to highlight that. Have you checked it out to check that? So, Ahithophel is the grandfather. You see, we skip when we read, like I said, by the special grace of God. I can't tell you the amount of time I've read the scripture back to back, Genesis to Revelation in second, and we will be doing that as well too. We skip genealogy, because when you read that genealogy, it tells you who is who and who is who and who is who. You will find it in the genealogy how Ahithophel and Bathsheba are connected. So Ahithophel is the grandfather of Bathsheba, meaning that Ahithophel's son is the father of Bathsheba. So you read it, it's there. And so I'm glad you did say, let me highlight your comment again. Where's your comment again? Yeah, you said you know that since you know of the sin of David, but didn't know that aspect of the grandfather of the lady involved. So you can see that we're coming back to the same thing I said, I highlighted earlier. It must be seen literally, grammatically. The same principle must be applied, because when we now spiritualize it, we are living in a different world. But these things, even though we're not there, it happened. And even if we disagree that these are fictional stories, we cannot disagree to the fact that we get angry, and at times it tends to what leads to revenge. We get bitter over something. We're human. We get bitter over something. So we retain that bitterness. In the process of retaining that bitterness, let me tell you this now. Let's say I did something wrong to you, Eso, and you retain that bitterness. The moment you have an opportunity to revenge against me, even if it's going to lead to death, because you've retained that bitterness for a long period of time, it has grown. Once that opportunity comes, you take it. Yes, I have that opportunity. By doing so, you are not what? Keeping a clean hand and a pure heart. And you are depriving of yourself of that blessing that will come from keeping a clean hand and a pure heart. I'm going to say something that will throw everyone, men in particular, off balance. Because It's a very serious matter. Like I said, this is Have Your Say, our first Sunday broadcast, which will be coming most of the time. But it's to bring sanity because there's craziness in this issue of spiritualism, spiritual this and that. For crying out loud, the Bible is the most simplified. Even the language is easy to understand. So now that you understand that, because I gave you, I hope you've gone to check it to verify it, that indeed that is the case, because I have to give you reference points in that. Now, have you verified? If you verify it, I will appreciate you say, if you can say yes to it, also because you are the star of the broadcast today. So if you can say you verify this reference point I gave to you, scriptures I gave to you, confirming that Ahithophel is the grandfather of Bathsheba, and you will now identify with either David or Ahithophel. But we cannot retain anger. Psalm 24. Psalm 24. That is the key thing here. Psalm 24. We shall ascend unto the hill of the Lord, and we shall stand in his holy mountain. He that hath a clean hand and a pure heart. And in that respect, I did say that we will start something very soon. I'm going to put it up there. I actually, where is it? Somebody, I need to highlight some comment. Please, I'll be back to you. Okay, Mustafa, thank you. You said yes. I'm going to get back to you on that. David, a teenager as well, and volunteered. Okay, Henry Johnson, I don't know what you're trying. It's all made up story. You're entitled to your opinion. That is respected. Petra is national. I think I've highlighted that as well too. I've highlighted this as well too. The victors make the history. Yeah, that's not necessarily true, because the combination of, if Ahithophel is so much into in-laws, David will make a better in-law. I don't know what you're trying to say there. What are you telling? What you are telling us is similar with the story of tortoise as the smartest animal. No, that is not the case of the tortoise and the smartest animal. And that wants the black man to forgive. The writers never forgive or forget. No, but listen, forgiveness is a standard rule. It's not about black or white. And I think it's high time we come off this us of white this thing. For crying out loud, we have common sense to apply common sense to get things right, regardless of the Bible or not. Except we are saying we don't have common sense to fix what we can fix, and oftentimes we often refer to the. And Henry Jones, I don't know where you. Those most of you that said, "Why don't you just leave the white man country?" Yet millions are still jackpotting to the white man country. We can't fix our own this. Well, that is for another day. That is for another political. Ahithophel chose the wrong person and went for it. No, Ahithophel did not choose the wrong person. No, he did not. David did wrong. Come on, put yourself in the shoe of Ahithophel, and put one leg in the shoe of Ahithophel, put another leg in the shoe of David. Ahithophel committed suicide. Got nothing to do with God. His advice was rejected. God was not interested in Ahithophel. God was interested in Absalom. But yet, his advice was rejected by Absalom. Should he have gone to commit suicide? A man who is recorded that his advice is like one who goes to consult the oracles. He's never wrong in his advice. The two advice he gave to Absalom were perfect. So, again, David was a man quick to repent, and so God protected him. Thank you for that. You see, that's why we're talking about the pure hand, the clean hand, and a pure heart. Now, that does not mean you're not going to do wrong. You're not going to make mistakes, but take it from me again for the record. You get punished for it. Either if it's something you make, if you kill somebody, get it right now. The law will take its full course. on you, whether you cry for repentance to God or not. We must get this thing straight. If you break the traffic light or any crime against humanity, let me put it that way, in a sane society, the law, you will face the full force of the law will come upon you in that regard. In the case of David being the king, his house was bastardized. His son slept with his daughter. There was issues. Those are the judgments that God. Up to today, the name of God is being a reproach among the Gentiles because of David's action. But you're right, Esther. David was a man quick to repent, and so God protected. Ahithophel has a justification to be angry, but God does the judgment. For the first time, also, we agree in principles for 100% because the exclusive right of revenge, of vengeance, belongs to God, not to me, not to you. So, back to the issue again. Thank you for that. The song goes slowly. Before dawn, your anger will subside. That is one point. But the other point is you rectify or you make amend before the sun goes down. Not just necessarily subside, but with the other party involved, try to one, either you forgive and let it go. If it's a case that you need to address that issue, you approach the person and address that issue. The moment you leave it to fetter on for long, it becomes a problem. And this often happens a lot. Like I said, if we emphasize it on relationship, it's in relationship in general. I can be your enemy. Your blood brother can be your enemy tomorrow. Take it or leave it. It's a fact of life. But the thing is that you cannot hold that anger for too long. The limit is the sunrise and the sunset. So, also, you said you said the sun is it the question I asked you that this man will not kill me, man. Also, you will not kill me, except you just want to have a laugh, and I will say you answer the question. Are you saying that the sun, in respect to 4 Ephesians 4:26, is a spiritual sun? If you are confirming that, I am saying this openly that you need deliverance, and I will be the one on this platform to conduct deliverance on you. So, what is a spiritual son? I don't understand these people. Uh, I don't understand it. So, what do you mean it's a spiritual son? How do you describe the spiritual son? Uh, how do you describe the spiritual son? Uh, Eso, please, I need you to describe that spiritual son for us, please. Dan the Huma. Thanks for joining in, Dan.
Hello,
I'll,
Mr. Electricity. How are
long,
you, sir?
fine, long time. We've not seen for a long time now.
Yeah. I was on holidays. I just came back, and I
Uh,
just I saw you on. I thought I should know what's going on and what topic are you dealing with? Was it serious?
well, we are having our first Sunday broadcast, which is Sunday service. We're looking at the topic is of anger and revenge. For the story, it's about. Okay, let me highlight this for you. It's about this now. What you're seeing on the screen, Ahithophel is the grandfather of Bathsheba, whom David committed adultery with. So it's about anger. Now, imagine you being Ahithophel and a friend of yours, your advisor, sleeps. Do not only sleep with your granddaughter who is married, equally also kill her husband. How will you be? What will be your response like?
Well, that is why I joined him because I was listening to you and what the other guys were telling you there. But if somebody sleep with my granddaughter and kill the husband because of his own, I don't know, lust or whatever.
He abused his power. He abused his power. He was a king, so he abused his power.
Yeah, that is what I'm talking about. If you use that power that, okay, I'm going to sleep with this and then kill the husband, so that maybe he's afraid that the husband of this person will take revenge, that you want to take my wife or whatever, something like that. So it's better to kill the man so that he will be safe. You understand? My reaction as a person, I'm a forgiving person, to be honest with you. I don't believe in that type of revenge, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I don't really, as a person, you understand?
That's good.
What's this case? This case is different from other cases where you
Yeah.
might, this is a kind of personal issue that, oh, this guy did this and this because he has more power than me or something like that.
No, they are friends, and there is also his advisor in his one of his advisor in his cabinet.
That's what I'm saying. This, is close to him, or
Yeah.
they together. In things like that, how would I do it? I don't think I will revenge. I will not call it vengeance to bring peace to myself, but I will see it as, maybe you give the person time. Like you were saying, David repented instantly. He realized what he did, and maybe went on his knees. He couldn't believe, wow, did I do this and that? If you see such some people will do something to you, they will never tell you sorry. They
Okay,
will never
that's true.
they will never show remorse. Of they will say, waiting he could do something like that. I don't do, I'm waiting. That's a different issue. If he appears in that side, you might be tempted to say, you want to know what I could do. Okay, I will do something like that. But someone like me, how I've been living my life, I will walk away. I would prefer to walk away, because if I commit the same sin, if I want to revenge, I will kill the person. Do I want blood in my own hand? I think you understand now. What, do I want to commit the same sin David committed and was crying and begging and probably all his life?
Dan, stop there. You just highlighted one important thing. Do you want to commit the same thing that David did? Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if I know I don't want to commit that same sin, because the only solution to bring happiness to me is to kill David. So if I know I don't want to commit that same sin, and the way I've been living my life, I've seen hell in my life. If you know my utterances in this our
Yeah,
conversation,
of course, I
I've
do.
seen a lot of dangerous things in life. I, sometimes they say leave it to God, or if you don't believe leaving it to God, you just say, my brother, let them call me a fool, no problem. You win, you win. Just they go. I go my way, and that attitude has kept me alive today. Because there are a lot of things that happened to me. Assuming I did what they did to me, maybe I wouldn't be alive today. You understand? Because there's consequences too. Maybe if you can forgive, some people cannot forgive. You understand? So for me, the only solution I would have used in my own case is just to walk away. Like I walked away from a lot of things that happened to me, and I'm happy today. Even though sometimes you might cry inside your mind. Sometimes, oh, maybe I should have done that, but I don't think revenge would be the solution, because it's a personal thing. You know what I mean? It's something close. He was a friend. He was close to me. Maybe it's the devil that used him, or maybe he didn't wasn't thinking well, or maybe. So I will choose the option of not going directly and commit the same sin. Uh, you know.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. I asked a question here about the sun, and if the sun is literal, and someone said here, the sun is not literal. People go to the moon today. Is the moon they go a literal moon or not a literal moon? The sun, if you're in Nigeria, the sun you're saying, is it not a literal sun? Is it a spiritual sun? I really don't. You see, well, the purpose of this is, we spiritualize a lot of things back at home. We don't see it literally. And I did highlight something. Let me take you back a bit. A bit of what I did highlight, that we must apply the same principle and grammatical rules to the Bible and exercise common sense and reason with it as other books. And most people don't agree with it, and I don't know why they find it difficult to agree with this, because it is a book. Whatever name you want, they call it. It is a book. So, and when you are reading it, you are reading stories. But the stories we're reading are stories of events that has happened for us to learn from. It's like we read about the Holocaust, we read about Martin Luther King, we read about a lot of things, histories, 1800 histories or 1600 histories. These are events that happened, that were recorded, and we'll read it so that we can learn big things from it. So why should we not apply the same principle and grammatical rules to it? That is where I get confused.
But let's just say, human beings are not the same. That is what you have to know. The decision you will take for certain things is not what another man will take. And all those stories they wrote in the Bible to use to teach us. For example, if you want to read law, I think religious studies is one of the requirements to get into law school. I'm not sure. I didn't go to
I'm
that
not
level.
sure of that, but let's just go by that argument.
Yeah, but most people I know who are lawyers, they know a lot of the Bible. Sometimes they refer to the Bibles when they are solving some cases. You understand? Because Bible is a kind of guideline. You understand? To so many things, like you are just saying, it's a recorded stories of events, and most people always refer to the Bible
To the
sometimes
Bible.
to sort a lot of problems. So if we follow that line of, okay, what happened in those days, can we replicate it today's day? For example, you know what I mean? Sometimes people believe it. You understand? Some
Yeah.
people will say, I bet, don't tell me that thing. That one are their own. I will solve it my own way. You understand? So for me, what I do is I live day by day to day. What happens to me in life is what I use to live my life. I don't prefer to refer to something that happened maybe 1,000 years ago. Maybe the situation then is not the situation right now.
But
Mhm.
then betrayal and revenge, it's something that we can identify with in the past and in present
Of
as
course.
well. And so when we now look at, for example, I highlighted this earlier, a tu brute is a Latin phrase literally meaning, and you brutus, or also this. So how many of us can confirm that this event
Just
happened?
that you mean.
but
Well,
but if they set it for you in an exam, if you are taking literature and it is one of the books or story you have to read, you have to answer it.
of course.
But the betrayal of Brutus on Julius Caesar, every one of us can identify with it because we see it and we experience betrayal, uh, even in present time, even in politics. Well, some people say Wike betrayed us, we did this and that, or Peter. Every one of us identify with betrayal. We may disagree with the book, but we identify with betrayal. And until we see it literally, then why must we spiritualize everything? I don't understand. And that is the problem in what is happening in Nigeria today, in Africa at large. So on that note, I decided to set up days for people to understand. Those who wants to be interested in this, it's called the Pure Tribe group. Pure Tribe. It's gonna be here for a while. I'm gonna highlight it every time, and how we can bring ourselves to this point, because the craziness. I mean, if you look at the things happening in churches today, it's. I don't know if you listened to this last video, that one video that just came out, when the man said the first fruits bring all your January salary to him. You've not seen the video.
I've but I've seen a lot of videos, my brother. I've
He
had
said, it's an oracle. He is the oracle of God. We're going to deal with that next. So you see, we take these things lightly, but the fact is it destroys life.
Yeah.
Now I can understand that the same way people japa for a better life, the same way people in Nigeria wants to key in into these miracles or this and that to get them out of that poverty or out of that problem. We can draw a balance there, okay? But in the case of this that is happening in Nigeria and Africa, it has not changed anything so far.
Electricity. Let me
Right.
just 1 minute point in what buttress your point about this Nigerian situation. Nigerian churches, for my own opinion, I don't know, it's just a criminal enterprise. People who are trying to survive. You understand? And they are using the situation of Africa and Nigeria in particular to use it to find money for themselves. Because if you look at all these churches, they are telling you, like this man video, I didn't say it yet, but what you just explained, telling you to bring your first salary and it's an oracle of God. This is just it's just criminality, nothing more than that, and hypnotism. Most of them use they hypnotize people. They use people's situation. You understand me now? Oh, I will pray for you. Some will change. This will happen. These are gangs, you know. I don't know. I've been in a church in Abuja many years ago that told us to give what we couldn't give. You understand? To give them something, you know, that before you give it to yourself, even you will think properly. Now he's asking us that thing we know that we cannot let go. We should give it to him, and we will see the miracle of God. I almost gave them my necklace now. I was having a very expensive silver necklace. Almost before my mind woke up, oh boy, they Chris. How you go carry your silver necklace, give this man for waiting, for just waiting in the talk? Things are like that. And they do it like tight. This tight they are saying 10%, 10%. You carry 10% of your salary if you have 100 people in your church, and those 100 people take their 10% of their salary and give to one person or one organization. They will become multi-billionaires, and this is what they are today. You
I
understand?
am not against. I am not against people giving tithes. Even Christ, Jesus Christ, was not against it, but Jesus Christ weighed in on that, and he highlighted the most weightiest important things. The focus has been on it. Christ highlighted justice, mercy. He highlighted three things that they've completely ignored, and now focus on tithe. So Jesus Christ, I think that was Matthew 23, if I'm correct. I don't know if I'm correct in that quotation, but he weighed in on it. He's not against it. Let's correct the record. But what he is against is they've put it above the most important thing. Because let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, Dan. As a teacher, okay, my responsibility is to trust God to meet, let's say I have flocks about. My responsibility is to trust God to meet the needs of the church as a whole. So if you give 1 naira, for example, my response as your tithe, for example, my responsibility is to take that 1 naira to God and say, God, this is what your children have given. Please bless it. Bless them and bless it and leave God. Take, for example, when Christ fed the 4,000 and the 5,000 with 4 loaves of bread and 5 fishes. They multiplied. So it is for them to trust God to say, you know what, even though we got 5 naira as a whole, as a tithe, for example, God is the one that does the addition and the multiplication of it. And one of another reason also is this: they've taken the position not to work. And because they refuse to work, I use the word they refuse to work, and as such, they go in this path. But Paul, in his argument, I think Act 20, if I'm correct, in his argument, told them that, listen, I have shown you by example how you ought to labor with your own hands, meaning that he has told them, he showed them to work. Don't come and claim one position that you are a GO or this and that, and you are not going to work. Where is that? Where is it written anywhere that you're not going to walk? Where is it written that you should not walk? And these are the reasons that are causing the problem, and the economy also don't support this. This is what we don't understand, and this is why we're trying to bring sanity, because everything has been spiritualized, and it's
No,
a sad. Go ahead, Dan.
let's
Well,
is
Dan,
it
before you go, let me highlight a question somebody asked. The person asked a question: how did I come to the conclusion that Ahithophel was out for revenge? I believe I highlighted how I came to that conclusion in the course of my study, that Ahithophel is the grandfather of Bathsheba. There's no other reason recorded that will make Ahithophel wants to revenge David. Because when he heard that Absalom has taken over, Ahithophel volunteered to be part of Absalom administration. He wasn't interested in Absalom. And when they told David that, listen, Ahithophel is also one of the conspirators, he got afraid. Why should I be afraid, Dan, if I have done nothing wrong to you?
I mean, what they say when they call that proverb we used to, they
A
say when,
fair conscience, fear no accusation.
yeah, so those are things that in the Bible. That is why Bible sometimes so many people don't understand Bible. It's not everything that is in the Bible that I believe in. You understand? Because of the way it's been interpreted by people.
Yeah, correct. I agree with you because of the interpretation, the way it's being
Yeah, some
interpreted.
people are real. Some people are just there, like I say, criminal minded, just survival. They know that, okay, like that word that you hypnotize. Most of these people in Nigeria or African pastors, some of them are people we know now. You know him right from time before suddenly they say it's the GO of some places. He becomes so important. Even if we have security, you'll be wondering, no be this guy why I know. Why I still know. Where they see now become a man of God and all those type of things. So the interpretation of most of the stories is the problem, the necessity. So when you come now talking about this tithe, they take the money they give, they go to God and say, God, how did they see God?
No,
So tell
what I'm trying to say is this, Dan. What I'm trying to say is I must come to that point to believe and to trust that, listen, if these people are obeying simple instruction to give 10%. So if my tithe, let's say my salary is 1,000 naira, for example, for the purpose of argument, the
yeah.
tithe there is 10 naira. So and
You
100 people,
know, now 10% of 1,000, not be 100, 100.
100 naira. So let's say that 100 of us earn the same, just for the purpose of argument, we earn
Yeah.
the same salary and we give 100 naira. That brings us to 100 of us, 100, that's 1,000 naira. No, uh,
100
100, no, 100 naira each.
by 100 people. That one
By,
now 100
yeah,
money
so
or 10,000.
10,000. Let's just go by 10,000. And the need of that establishment is beyond 10,000.
Mhm.
I have to come to that point to trust God to say, indeed, you can meet this need. These people have obeyed you, but this money is not even enough to meet the need. Now, there may also be some members there also that are also in need as well too. So my
Yeah.
responsibility also is to ask God that these people gave out of their pain or whatever it is, meet them at their need. I have to trust God enough to say this thing they give is not enough. If I am working just like them, I will give the same as well too. I
Yeah.
will give the same amount to just if I'm earning the same salary, I will give the same as well too. So why will I now condemn people what they give? No, if Christ said it that the most important thing or the weightiest matters of the law is justice. I think I'll look for it. I think it's Matthew 23:23. It's justice, if I'm correct. Justice, mercy, and one of the three things he mentioned. He said you've ignored these things and you focus on what? On the tithe. And which is a sad thing that is happening today. And you know, when we speak out or when we talk about this, people think we are attacking men of God or not. That is not the case, because I think I come I come with the scriptures, and I say, what did Jesus Christ, I mean, what did Paul says to Timothy? Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed of himself, rightly dividing the truth. And all scriptures are inspired by God. They are good for correction, for reproof, for doctrine, meaning teaching. So the intent is to correct. And it's sad if people take it personally that, oh, one is after the men of God. For crying out loud. What, as far as they are men of God, people will be after them. Take it or leave it.
Who called? Excuse me, I want to just ask this question, electricity. How did they become men of God?
Dan, you're
Who
asking me a
that
question.
title
I
of
cannot I cannot answer that
Yeah,
question.
that's what I was telling. Most of these people who are today men of God that people worship even more than God, we know them before. We know they were like me and you, working, hustling, and up and down. Suddenly, they follow
Yeah,
that way, and
Dan,
down.
Dan, they come. Okay, for example, and I tell you, I mean, we're talking about the scriptures here. We're looking at it to bring. Remember, the topic is anger and revenge.
Yeah,
Keeping a pure hand, I mean, a clean hand and a pure heart.
yeah,
Somebody has to say it, and like you rightly said, the interpretation given to it, that has been the problem. That is that, and because the reason that is that we don't see it literally as it is, wherein it is all possible. And in last week broadcast, if you remember the story of the children of Israel, like they went through the Red Sea, they came to a well that they needed water. Now, Bible scholars say that well is 8 feet by 2 feet in diameter, and what the water is a combination of chemicals. It's a literal well, nothing spiritual about. So we must not turn it into a spiritual matter. The truth is that when they got to that well, they wanted to drink from it. They couldn't drink. Even the Arabs that traveled by that don't allow their camel to drink from that water. So it is natural to be angry that we are thirsty and we want to drink water, and this water is bitter. So they complained. Now, God had to prove them when he asked Moses and the water became, he said, learn to trust me. That is just the basic of that experience there. Learn to trust me. But it is a literal well, nothing spiritual about it. It's
yeah,
literal. It's like when we dig well back at home now. You know, when we start to dig, we get dirty water first. The dirty water will come, we continue to dig this. And sometimes we don't even get clean water. It is a literal well. And sometimes we throw alum into the water. These are literal things and that we see every day. But I hope we will be able to bring sanity, the way we're talking about politics, to bring sanity into our political arena, because these things goes hand in hand. People don't understand that these things go hand in hand. The society, the decay in moral in society today is a decay that you and I and every one of us contributed to it. So how do we now repair it and fix it? Is what we are about to do here now. But you see, I had to set up this group, and there's an instruction there for people, guidelines for people to follow. It's very simple. If you are interested in joining, you're welcome. That's the number there on the screen, because we have to get things right, particularly back in Nigeria. I'm scared the way things are going, either in the political arena or in the honestly, Dan, I am scared. I am being honest with you.
I was scared 30 something years ago. That's why I ran away from Nigeria. You know what you say you are feeling now. I know it's not now. I felt that 30 something years ago. I was so scared of Nigeria that I knew that I will never grow up in that place because of the situation. All this, not nobody knows what is happening. Spirituality became a norm. Anything you say, oh, this and that, this Bible we are talking about now, they turned it upside down. most of the big preachers we used to know, suddenly you will hear stories. Oh, this man, they buried this on the ground, they bury a whole cow. So you start to ask yourself, so what is really this religion we are talking about? When these people, sometimes, I don't know if you ever felt it, sometimes you see this man of God, you think they are even God themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So Nigerian situation has nothing to do with religion. It's just criminal enterprise. Guys, hungry people who don't know what to do. They went to Bible school for 6 months. They came out. They called themselves men of God, and everybody started because of the troubles in Nigeria.
But Dan, we are in the position to ask questions and seek clarification. We can't put all the blame on them. We can't do that. That will not be fair because, for example, I'm running this broadcast now. Have your
Yeah.
say. And I want people to come on the comment section to have their say. I highlighted their comment. They ask questions. Last week somebody asked question, which I will still have to listen. That is the way it should work, whereby people should ask questions and seek for clarification. That is why I said until we start to see literally, if we spiritualize it, then we're not going to ask questions because it's a case of it's a spiritual matter. You don't ask questions in spiritual matters. And that is absolutely wrong. You don't ask questions in spiritual matters. That is absolutely wrong. This thing is a literal thing, and you just have to ask questions and seek for clarification. And that is why I highlighted this. Before I go, I'm coming down. Ahithophel made the wrong choice. Let me just, you are wrong in that answer. Okay, I want you to prove me wrong. You only said I am wrong. What choice did Ahithophel made? And why did he make that choice? Because what choice did he make? What's his name again? Ojebe Eke. What choice did he make? Choice of what? Of joining Absalom, giving advice, or want to revenge? What choice did he make? How am I wrong in terms of the choice he made or wanting to revenge David? Please, I need you. You see, this is where this is that for back to you again. This is where we say questions and ask clarification. This is why it becomes interesting. If I'm just sitting here alone and shutting down everybody, shut you down, what's gonna be like? What's it gonna be like? So
No,
this man is asking questions. Like somebody, like earlier, SO is gone now. He's gone now. He said when I pointed out why David Ahithophel was after David, he said he never realized that is the reason why, and I have to give him a reference. This is the reason why he went after David. There is no any other reason again. He's been a counselor for David. And it's recorded that he gave David a sound counsel. Come on, Dan, I give you a good advice. Uh, so why would I want to be after you if you did nothing wrong to me? Except maybe I'm jealous. I want to become your king. I want to become the king, one,
yes.
or there is something else on that underlining. So if this man can tell me how that is, that would be understandable. Ahithophel was Ajib. His short David was, I don't know, what is Ajib? Ajib is he talking about, I don't know. I don't understand that. Let's go to Eso at electricity. The truth is the Bible has been monetized by most pastors, but that doesn't make the Bible wrong. Who have said the Bible is wrong here now?
Misinterpretation, not wrong.
That's but you are coming back to what I said. So anyway, thank you for this. You are coming back to what I highlighted earlier, that it must be seen in the same principle and grammatical rule must be applied to it, just like any other book. You just coming back in. You see, this is maybe people think we are here to joke, both in the political platform, and no, we're not here to joke. But like I said, my job, my role, I beg your pardon, which I picked on, which I took upon, is to what? Is to bring understanding to this thing, because until we come to that point to see it as a literal story wherein it is all possible, and to look for the truth it tends to convey, we will be running in circle. The problem will not solve. It will just be the same. It will just be the same. We'll be going in circle. And that is why you see the madness there in churches. I told you in 2020, this church I attended back, name withheld in 2020. I was upset. Things were very bad. It was a COVID period, and you're going about raising funds that don't want to repair the house of God. And there is a clear instruction on how to go about to raise funds when you want to repair or build the house of God. Give whatever you have. That is the instruction. Give whatever you have.
But electricity, let me just bop in here.
Go ahead.
Is that most of these churches, they only take from the people, but they never give back.
Dan, back to the same thing. It's down to the people to understand the scriptures. It's down to this. It's just like the Nigerian constitution that people condemn or say it's a bad constitution. Okay, fine, it's bad. Write another one so that we're going to follow. Until you write another one, where government is concerned, government have to have what? A constitution to follow.
Of course.
You get what I'm pointing. It's just like the Nigerian constitution that millions or a lot of people have said, oh, it's bad, it's a fraudulent document. Okay, fair enough, it's fraudulent document. Write another one that will follow. Is it the document or the people that are there that are not following the document to the letter? So it's all about the people. It's all about you and I. And that is why I said I set up this group by this. I'm going to highlight it again. For those who are interested, it's a very simple thing. For those who are interested to join and just read the description and follow the guidelines. That's all it takes. It doesn't take anything out of anyone. And we'll be coming here every Sunday. Friday I do politics. Sunday I do this as well too. So, and I hope to do this for as long as I have the breath in me to do it.
I want to thank you for doing all these programs. I used to watch them. Today is that I'm at home. I'll be going to work in the next 3 hours. So I thought I should join you. But
yeah,
you see, the point you are making by doing this religious program is because you know, and I know, and many Nigerians know that when Nigeria started going downwards through the bad way was when these churches and it's not only churches, when this religion thing became like, before religion is you go to, even sometimes you go to church, nobody even asks you whether you go to church on Sunday.
Sorry, Dan, let me interrupt you. I have ignored Henry for some time, but I want to highlight what because I didn't want to highlight him. Somebody asked a question. It's a question. Henry Johnson, don't be offended. But I think it would be nice if you answer this question, because we are trying to bring sanity to the system, but you are trying to cause more disruption. And I've decided. But somebody asked Henry, did you finish any form of education? It's a question, Henry, if you can answer that question. And I believe Ojigbe Eke is asking this question based on your comment that you've been making so far. So Dan, the floor is back to you. Thank you.
Yeah. I was saying that this religion, trying to use this religion to emphasize Nigerians' confusion, is that the religion thing that has taken over Nigeria today, you understand, is a problem. Many people don't want to agree on that. Like you were saying, if you say that, they say you are attacking the man of God and women of God and this and that. But the real problem of Nigeria as far as my memory can recall, was when this religion thing became a thing. Before, religion was not a thing. If you are a Muslim, you go to Friday, you go and pray. If you're a Christian, Sunday, you go to church. Maybe the Catholics, they used to have their own early morning mass and all those things. Nobody talked about it. And there was no money into it that time. You see a priest is living normal. Maybe some of them even have their bicycles. If you lived in the village, these setups, they have their bike when it's going. But suddenly, it became a thing of money. You understand? That is why I myself, Nigerian problem is, and you said this rightly there, they don't want you to ask questions. You understand me?
Yeah,
Anytime you,
they don't want you to ask questions. They don't
yeah,
want you to seek for
that's what it
clarification.
is. Because when they know that when you start asking questions, then they are in trouble. Because most of the thing they are doing is not normal. It's not normal because the last time I went to church, electricity, just 30 seconds. The last time I went to church, I will mention it because I don't want to hide anything now. I know go agree is the point of Nigeria now. We will not go agree again. I went to church in Gambia, a Nigerian guy who I used to know when he was moving with slippers. Suddenly, he became this miracle man. They call him now prophet. So one day I just came back on holiday. I said, boy, make I even go see what's in the happen. Do you know that since we've been talking now, that man has been talking about money? He didn't read the scriptures. He did. If he finished this money matter, he jumped to the other money matter. So I was asking myself, so these churches now, they only talk about money.
It's a sad thing,
Yeah,
and I know people will say, let me throw some. When we talk about fellowship, okay, that means going to church and everything. Hebrews 10:25 gave a true picture of the purpose of going to church. It is to what? To encourage one another unto
yes.
faithfulness, because of what? For those who believe in the second coming of our, because of discouragement and everything. But that is no longer the case.
No.
It's no longer the case. It's there. Like I tell people, I come to you. You can never go wrong if you go to people on the point of view of the scriptures. You can't go wrong.
No.
I'll provide you the reference where you should go check it out to say, listen, what am I talking? What are you talking about? I told some people, you question prophecy. People don't believe it. Paul, in his argument, I think in 1 Corinthians 14 or 2 Corinthians 14, he said, let the prophets, one or two prophets speak, and let others judge. The word judge here is let others determine. Apply your common sense to what the person is saying. And the basis of judgment is the written revelation of God, which is the Bible, the literal book. Because in Jeremiah 28, there was a contest between the prophet Jeremiah and the prophet Ananiah. Jeremiah said something, Ananiah said another thing. Ananiah said, okay, Jeremiah said, well, I'm not going to argue further with you. But we know that when prophecy are given in the past, we know how it happened, how we determine it, how we judge it. So if yours is correct, so be it. Now, Jeremiah had gone away, and it is recorded that the Bible, God told Jeremiah to go back and tell that prophet that he has made the people to believe in lies because what he said was a lie. And this is the sad thing that we don't understand that. Like you rightly said, when things are misinterpreted, you put a lot of people's life at risk.
Of course.
So he was sent back to say, Ananiah, God did not send you to say this thing. You're lying. You see, it is not only you lying, you made people also to believe and trust in that lie. And in doing so, the people's punishment was doubled. The people that believe that, you see, this is very strange.
Yeah.
This is weird. The people who believed in that, their problem increased by double. And the prophet died that same year, because according to the record. So when we don't look at things for ourselves, that is why you see that problems are not solved. Because why? They trust or they believe in lies rather than searching it for themselves. You know,
Hypnotize them.
right.
It's hypnotism. When they hypnotize you, if they tell you that this is this, bro, you will believe it because you have
Dan,
been.
I disagree with it. I disagree that they hypnotize, because we have this thing for us to read. No, no,
Yeah,
I don't think they
yeah,
hypnotize.
not everybody. I'm surprised that you know a lot about the Bible. I must commend you, man. I don't know that you are so religious like that. I wouldn't have the time to start searching any scriptures. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's done. Done. You see this group I set up, okay? If you listen, it's an opportunity for everyone. I won't use the word opportunity. You see, you know those days when we go to hotels, some hotels they have this good news Bible everywhere, that is Gideon's Bible.
Yeah, yeah.
Gideon's Bible, yeah, the Bible is everywhere. No one has a monopoly of it. So you and I have no excuse. Now, I know the challenge it is to pick it up and read. Sometimes it's not exciting, it's not interesting. But it is like I highlighted, like I'm going to highlight one of that things here. Uh, it is not an amulet, maybe something you hang on the wall. This not a charm, not a fetish, or a book that will work wonders by its very presence. No, you can stand on it. You ain't gonna do nothing. You can put it under your pillow. It ain't gonna do nothing for you.
I
You can
used
clutch it. You can clutch it on your chest when the aeroplane, when you're experiencing turbulence. It ain't gonna do nothing. It ain't gonna do nothing.
I
But
used to do the second
this is
one
what
before. I
it's
used
going to
to put
do.
it under my pillow.
This is what it's going to do. It is a book that will work wonders in every life, year and year after. if if acted upon and obeyed in faith and sincerity, and should be taken literally wherever possible, as we do all other books. So that is just it. There's no two ways about it. There's no two ways about it. Somebody gave a story. The man went to visit this couple. He went to visit the couple, and they serve him with spoon. I think one of the best. I don't know how true the spoon. They serve him with it. So he now took the spoon, the cutlery, and hid it inside the Bible in their house. And they were looking for this cutlery. They could not find it. So the man came to visit again when he heard the cutlery was missing. I think after some few months or whatever it is. And he asked if they found the cutlery. He said, no, they've not found it. He said, go bring that Bible. And when they brought the Bible, the cutlery is inside. So that means you did not open this Bible at all.
For the months that passed. And they will be saying they are Christians, you know. So that means they've not been reading the book of the holy book.
Exactly. So it is your responsibility and my responsibility, or those who believe it, to read. That is how we can correct these abnormalities in the society. That's just the truth. I mean, this is what we call Bible study. Though we're doing it in a very, how do I use that word, informal way, or not the big way or people expect it. But this is it. You come with your question, and we deal with it as we ought to deal with it. So, and that is why. uh, good evening, Madam Nelly. I hope this is you. Then somebody said, "Wicked people now." Not Henry Johnson. Henry Johnson comment. You don't explain the Bible from your personal angle, human idea. What you think, you will be wrong. I'm not. What? Okay, tell me, how should I explain it? This is Dan. You see the problem. Okay, if listen, I put the link there again. Let me repost the link. Let me see if it's the same thing. Yeah, listen, the opportunity, the next broadcast will not start. This is true. Let me be sure of when the next broadcast will start, so that I don't go over my time. Let me see when the next broadcast will start. Hold on 1 second. Where's Rudolph? Yeah.
I
The
think
next broadcast, I think
17:30.
17:30. So we've got plenty of time.
Yes.
So that's the link there. It gives you an opportunity to come on the platform. Even if you're in Nigeria, turn off your camera so that the network will not, you have a good network. Turn off your camera. You see, when we sit behind the screen and we just type, it's not, yes, I know maybe you're at work, but it's better to come on the screen. Madam Nelly, thanks for joining us this
Good morning. Good morning.
thanks for joining us this afternoon. That's Dan. Dan the man is there, and I don't know if you
Hello,
met him.
morning.
I would.
Why is he Dan the man? Isn't he the one that calls himself Loco or something?
No, Loco is my Rasta man.
No, Loco is different.
They changes their names so much.
No. Loco is different from Dan.
Really? Okay.
I will yield the floor to you. I'll be off screen for 30 seconds. I'll be back.
Oh, okay. From the little that I've heard you guys discussing, you asking someone to read the Bible is not just reading it. You can read the Bible or any of the, whether it's a Quran or any book you're reading in any religious platform. You're not going to read it like you're reading a literature. You have to read it and apply what you understood from that reading into your life. That's what is going to change what we're going through. It's not just lip singing. We can't just keep talking. I go to church. I'm a Buddhist. I don't know if you have ever heard me say something. I was born Catholic. As one of my brothers is a priest, and my parents, they were so engulfed in. My mother goes to Jerusalem all the time. But in 1986, I became a Buddhist. So, you can't just, and when I come across, especially Nigerians, and I say I'm a Buddhist, they say, the first thing that comes out of their mouth, do you believe in God? And I said, okay, this God you're talking about, I'm looking at your behavior. You're not doing anything that is showing me that you believe in this God. So my thing with what Electricity just said that really made me come in, because I told you last time that I will come in, but normally when I wake up, I would chant maybe 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours of Daimoku, and then I will be free. So the thing is that whether it is the Bible that you're reading or whatever it is you're reading, you need to apply it in your life. You can't see wrong and you keep condoning it. And then you tell me you go to church, or you tell me, do I believe in God? So I'm a Buddhist. In the God you're calling, maybe the way I'm describing it is different from the way you're describing it, but it's that same one God. And as a Buddhist, I realized that I have the Buddha nature. I have the power. I don't need to go to a pastor to pray for me. I don't need to tell a priest to pray for me. I will pray and find out what is it that I'm doing that is making me miserable in this world. Am I a liar? Am I a cheater? Do I hurt people? And let me tell you, there's various ways we can do all these things. I could be a business person, and then I will deliberately sell something that is not good to you. I've committed sin by doing that. But in my mind, I'm a business person. Well, one time.
Well, I'm really sorry. Let me stop. I was talking to someone this morning about this thing you just said right now, and I think there was an argument of it was talking about Igbo people cannot be trusted, and I think that was yesterday broadcast, and he said he made that comment, and everybody he said, but if that is the case, why? I think they imported some drugs from India that were substandard.
I saw that. That was black.
And somebody said, "Oh, it's because of the system." And I said, "But don't you have conscience?
Don't you have?" But guess what? what Blackstone even said about the Igbos, it's not just the Igbos.
It's everywhere.
Yoruba people are not honest either. The Hausa people are not honest either. So
But we have conscience.
we can't just look at it, Igbo, Yoruba.
Exactly.
But it is, I said to people, you have to look at a human being first. A human being. That's the first thing that you need to look at. Whatever culture that they come from, that's secondary. All right. I'm an Igbo woman, and like I said, ever since 1986 that I became a Buddhist, I will not. It doesn't matter how much anybody pays me. I will not hurt you. I will not. And I'm not going to, because I have a business. And then if I'm going to do a business today, I'm going to really pray that I will have the wisdom. Maybe start little by little and then make sure that I'm able to finish selling what I've bought. But then if I didn't finish, maybe I'll buy it in a little quantity so that in case if I didn't finish selling it, then I can endure the cost. Without me selling a goosey that has been in my store for so many years, and I will sell it to you. I can't, because it's not good anymore. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm in healthcare. In healthcare, if you ask me question in healthcare, I will lay it out completely for you. I said, do this, don't do this. You go to a doctor says this to you, please question it. Because I can't say because I'm in healthcare, I want to be paid huge amount of money, and I know that this test is not okay for you, and I keep quiet. I can't. And that is why, what I put in the universe is what comes back to me. Even when I was here and my father had stroke, I was not afraid because I know that the doctors and nurses that will surround him in Nigeria will be sent by the powerful forces in the universe. And that was what really happened. I wasn't worried because for me here, I take care of the people that I'm dealing with here. So that's the way we're going to look at it. Not telling me, do you believe in God or do you believe in this? As a matter of fact, becoming a Buddhist was where I learned so much about Muhammad in the Quran, because it was written somewhere in my Buddhist philosophy book. I read more about Muhammad and the kind of person that he was. And he's nothing close to what is happening today in the North. Or you, because a young girl mentioned Muhammad, you put a tire over the person and burnt them. Who tells you to?
That is foolishness.
Who tells you to? When did God ask you to defend him? And then you have some people will come on damages here with their bold chest and tell me, oh, you insult Muhammad. Who the hell told you that Muhammad told you to do such a rubbish? Who told you that? And then you tell me that you're going to be okay. No, you will not be okay. You will not be okay. Well, whatever denomination anybody wants to belong to, I'm not fighting with you, but show me with your behavior that you believe in what you're telling me.
You're 100% right, Madam Lily. Sorry for interjecting you. Even the Bible says it is not in reading it; it is in doing it. It is in doing it. It is not the readers that are justified, but what those the doers that are justified. Because I can read it from now to thy kingdom come, and it doesn't reflect in my life. So it is not the fault of the book. Let me summarize this, because like when I started this discussion, I said it doesn't matter what religion you are aligned to. You are going to relate with what I'm about to say, which is anger and revenge.
Absolutely.
Every one of us can identify with anger, but we must not allow it to fetter in us, because in allowing that, what will happen is, if, for example, I hurt you, I really did something bad, and we're in the same circle, and you keep this thing in your mind, Madam Nelly. The moment you have opportunity to kill me, you will jump at it.
Electricity, can I add more to what you're saying? And I'm
Go
going
ahead.
to use my personal life. I just started practicing 1986, and then I ran into a fellow Nigerian here in New York. I'm in New Jersey, and he's also in Igbo. And oh, I love you, all these love bullshit, For a whole year, somebody is telling you, coming over, leaving New York, and then at the last minute you said okay, and then I got pregnant, and the person tells me you need to have an abortion, we're not ready. Can I also tell you that had I not been a Buddhist, had I still been a Catholic at that time, I would have done what he told me to do. But becoming a Buddhist, I learned to have courage. That's number one. Number two was that I didn't have a green card. I haven't been to school. I was literally a homeless human being at that time. But the members of the Buddhist organization at that time, they said to me, if you abort, you're going to suffer. If you have this baby, you're going to suffer. You don't have anything. But chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo so that you will be able to develop the wisdom to do the right thing. What came out of this was that I never fought him. I never asked him for child support. I never hold any anger. And I learned that by holding that anger, it stops you from moving forward. So today, that boy I trained him in the university. He did his master's. He's on his own. From New York, he moved to Atlanta. He has his own child today. Then, for me, when I sit back and reflect on that year, I said, how in the world did I do it? A single person. My parents in Nigeria didn't even know what I was going through. Like I said, I learned not to hold anger because you don't need to retaliate anything. Allow the universe to do that retaliation for you. He went back to Nigeria, he married whoever that he thinks is better. Came back here, trained the lady in nursing school, and after the lady graduated, the lady, after 3 kids, the lady abandoned him and married his best friend. He then came back here to tell me, if here in United States, you buy a house, people can locate you even without you telling them you bought a house. So he came here, he rang my bell, and I said, hi, how are you? He walked into my house and I said, oh, by the way, your child is already grown. He's in the university. And he tells me the devil pushed him. I say, it's okay. It's okay. And I really meant it by saying to him, it's okay. The devil pushed him. This person goes to church every day, And the guilt that he felt, even as much as I tried for him to relate with his son, it has nothing to do with me anymore. I never, up to today, I never said anything bad about him to that boy. I even brought them together. All right? But his guilty conscience keep making him to run from the boy. All right? He's now a man on his own, But so I have learned so much. To be honest, there's nothing anybody will really tell me today. My mother, even when she was alive, tried so much to pull me out of it. I said, Mom, you won't succeed. Because I didn't go into it blindly. I analyze, I see actual proof. I'm a much better human being. Because I'll promise you, I promise you, had I still been a Catholic, and for him to put me in that position and go to Nigeria to marry, it's either he kills me or I will kill him. I wouldn't have been alive in this United States.
All right. Thank you. Eagles, welcome to the platform. I think it's frozen. Yeah, it's frozen. Anyway, just let me highlight. Let me go a little bit of recap again. Eagles, are you there? I think it's frozen. Okay. Welcome to the platform. I think you have an issue with your network. I started by the intro. Et tu brute is a Latin phrase literal meaning, and you Brutus, and also Brutus often translated as you as well Brutus, and you Brutus as well too. And I did say that I highlighted it that we must apply the same principle and grammatical rules to the Bible. Some people disagree in the comment section. Disagreement is allowed, and exercise common sense and reason with it as other books. I highlighted the common sense part, which is as the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, palate, fingers, and the nervous system in general. I also give a reference in the Bible which tells us that strong meat are for those who have by reason exercised their common sense, their senses. This is what it's saying. So you see, what I keep saying is that we have allowed people to condemn Christianity and condemn the Bible. But if we take our time to read it, we'll find out that it's talking about what you and I should be doing. So it's not a book. I also went further to highlight to say the faculty to be angry is God created and perfectly sinless in itself. The misuse of faith and all other faculty is what God condemned. Anger is allowed by the gospel, but not sin. And it's also highlighted this anger allowed by the gospel, but not sin. I gave also a reference. The Bible is not an amulet, a charm, fetish, or a book that will work wonders by. Is very present. I highlighted this one too. Dan, that is not when I put it under my pillow or I put this in that. I have to read it. It's not when I clutch it against my chest and we're experiencing turbulence in the air and I think that will now it will save me. Nothing ain't gonna happen like that. It is a book that will work wonders in every life year and year after if acted upon and obeyed in faith and sincerity, and should be taken literally wherever possible, as we do with other books. And I don't know why people struggle with this, taking it literally as it is. I don't understand
And also,
that.
electricity, you can't say to me that you're reading the Bible or you're reading the Quran or whatever you're reading. Do not ever bear grudge. That's another thing. Don't bear grudge,
Yeah,
because
that is the purpose. That is the purpose of
if
the
you're
of the.
if you're bearing grudge, which every human being has the 10 worlds. We call it 10 worlds, and that 10 worlds is hell, anger, humility, and all this stuff. We all have it. It doesn't matter whichever denomination you belong to. We all have it. But it's you realizing it. You can't be praying to this your God and you have anger towards somebody, no matter what that person has done to you. You cannot do it with anger. And again, for me as a Buddhist, even if I don't like you, or even if you did something wrong to me, I pray for your happiness, genuine happiness, because then you will be able to be happy. Everybody is entitled to be happy in this world. So me chanting for your happiness, you will begin to see me differently. I will begin to see you differently, but I will not hurt you because you did something wrong to me. I will not.
Let's give Eagles Air welcome. The floor is yours. I hope your network is good now. So you are
Thank you
muted.
so much. Personally, I don't know what is wrong with my network. As I'm talking to you now, I have changed about 3 network right now.
Are you
I moved away
joining
from.
us from? Where are you joining us from?
Okay, I'm joining people from India, right away from
Oh,
India.
okay.
Yeah, you're supposed to know that I always join in from India. You're supposed to know.
Okay, sorry. No, I thought if your network is giving you problem, you can be off video and just we allow its exception is given. But
Yeah.
India and Nigeria, we don't know which one is the best. But let's see how
No,
far
no,
you
no,
can
no,
go.
no, no. No, in terms of India, no. Don't play with India. India has
Okay.
a good network. India has a good network.
Still go ahead. The floor is yours.
So, personally, I'm trying to observe what is going on, and I've been taking my time to read what you have put out there, especially when I saw the book of Hebrew, chapter 5, verse 14. What I did immediately, I have to go and quickly pick my Bible to read it and understand what he's talking about it, because man are not supposed to jump into a word without observing the direction where the word is going. And when I keep on listening, I hear what our mother, our sister there was saying concerning be a Buddhist and all rest of them. But there's something I want to chip in. Um, if you read the account of Muhammad before he left, he has something that he said to all his followers. What he said to them, that if there's anything that you did not understand in Quran, go to Bible or go to church and ask a question. They will give you a reference. He said it. Then if you go to Quran, you will find out that they write much about Jesus, but what they write is Isa. They call Jesus Isa in Quran. So the most important thing that, see, there's something I found out in this life. I have a friend who is a Muslim, but she based in the Kenya, but we met each other in the Facebook. So one day I just connect with her and start asking her a question. What is that question? I asked her about salvation. What do you know about salvation? I want to know about salvation. A Muslim. Do you know the first question he asked me? First question she asked me, are you a Christian? That is first question she asked me, are you a Christian? I said, yes, I'm a Christian. She said, okay. It has made easy for her to explain to me. Have you seen it? So when she said that, as long as I'm a Christian, the question and the communication between I and her have become easy. I asked her, why do you say so? He said that all of us, we are always the same thing. The difference that the Muslims don't believe that Jesus is God. While the Muslims say that Jesus is a prophet, as Muhammad is a prophet. But when you look into the similarities of what is written in Quran and all the rest of them, it's almost the same thing. But the only difference there is Jesus is not God for them. But we Christians say that Jesus is God. That's the difference that place. Now, coming to the India here, when you come to India, India have about 35 million gods. 35 million
sorry
gods.
for interjecting you,
Yeah.
Eagles Air. Is it possible you focus on the topic of the discussion? Is that possible? You weigh in on the topic of the discussion.
Then the topic talk about solid food or anger and all the rest of them.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming to direct, because there's why I just draw all these things now. This is why I say India has a 35 gods, and then when you look at them, they respect each other. I hope you understand what I'm saying. They respect each other, no matter where you belong to. They respect your own religion. They don't use anger to handle any person's religion, or to say that because you don't belong to me, that I will do this, I will do that. No. Now, generally, as a human being, everybody have an atom of anger in them. There's no way you can deny it away from you. You have anger in you. But what matters a lot, how do you control the anger that it has in you? That's the main thing. Because if you don't control anger in you, it will lead you to several different things that you will not like. But as a Christian, is it good to have anger in you? Now, if it is good for you to have anger in you, how long does it last? Because Bible said that when you have an anger, do not allow a sunset to come over it. Then when a sunset come over it, that means it has become a sin to you.
Sorry,
I hope you understand what I'm saying.
let me ask you this.
Okay, go
He
ahead.
said, the sunset. The issue of this, please, fellow panelists and audience viewers, please, can you bear with me for 1 second? It said that is you are quoting Ephesians 4:31, if I'm correct there.
Yeah.
No, Ephesians 4:26. He said, "Be angry and sin not. Do not let the sun go down on your anger." Is that a literal sun or the literal sun? The sunrise and the
No, no,
sunset?
no, 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 no. No, what they try to the Bible try to explain to us that place that do not allow your anger to be lengthy. Don't give your anger a full long time.
But that is the
Because
sunrise
one,
and the sunset.
no, see what they mean that this before the sun goes down. Like let me say before the sun goes down. What do you mean? So before sun goes down. If I offended you now in the morning, do not allow the anger to linger to tomorrow.
That is, we're saying the same thing. The literal sunrise and sunset. Would that be correct?
Yes,
All right, go ahead. Thank
yes.
you.
So what you're trying to say in effect that because when you allow anger to stay long in your heart, now it will give room to that place for you to begin to reason different things. When there's anger in your heart for a long time, a lot of things come into your mind. Negative will come, positive will come. But most of the time, any decision you make out of anger is a wrong decision.
Okay, let me
I hope
let
you
me
do
see if I
believe
can
of it.
throw you off balance. I'm just trying my best to see if I can throw you
Go
off
ahead,
balance.
I'm with you.
In the context of what we are discussing, David
Yeah.
is seen as an oppressor who oppressed based on his position. He abuses
Mm.
office. Let's put it that way. He abuses office by taking somebody else's wife and killing the person's husband.
Yeah.
This sunrise and sunset, is it also applicable as well?
When you look at the life of David, when you look at the account of David, that David is a man that something when those days in the school when we read things fall apart concerning Okonkwo and Ikemefula. If you watch Okonkwo, just one life of Okonkwo. What is that life of Okonkwo? He stands as a king that whatever he said that he must do it. You understand? So King David is a type that desired whatever thing he desired to do, he will achieve it, no matter whatever it cost him to achieve.
Okay, the question
But
I'm
there's
asking you
different,
is, the question I'm asking you is,
yeah,
this sunrise and sunset, do not let this anger linger beyond the sunset.
yeah.
Okay? David took somebody's,
Why?
slept with her,
Yes.
subsequently married her after her husband died, which is within his right, because once a man dies, the woman is free to marry anybody. But the circumstances that surround it, this same principle of sunrise and sunset, is it also applicable?
I want you to get something for that history or the life of David over that situation. You know, if we only look at David, do you know that God punished him? That God said to him,
There
God
is no
is.
dispute. We're not disputing.
I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand something. I want you to understand something in this very context now. I want you to understand something. When the Bible trying to make it understand, when a sun sets or when the sun goes down, when the anger linger to that place, it has become a sin to you.
Okay.
It has
Listen,
become a sin to
let me
you.
rephrase my question. You are
Okay.
Ahithophel. Okay? Let me put this
Yeah.
on. Maybe this will help you. You are Ahithophel. Your granddaughter is Bathsheba. David
Yeah.
is your friend. You are also his counselor. And he committed adultery against your granddaughter and also killed her husband. Meaning that you are not to retain that anger the moment it comes to your understanding that David did that to you. You are not to
Mm.
retain that anger beyond the sunset. Is that correct?
Uh, it did not return it to a sunset What I'm trying to say that place because the thing is too controversial, but I want. I, I don't want to sound like an APC man that came yesterday on the platform and began to throw about say that I want to answer the question of APC that is not representing APC. So
uh,
I'm trying to look
Eagle
into
said,
it in a way.
Eagle
Yeah,
said.
that is me. I understand.
I'll come back to you. Just hold on one second.
Electricity.
Okay,
Ma,
This is
no
what
issue.
I've been saying, that a lot of us just jump in and we claim we're this, we believe in God, we're Christians, but then they don't even on the simple question. It's either that you're going to react or you're not going to react. And again, you're telling me don't let the anger meet sunset. I don't think people are really understanding what they're reading. If people cannot show me with their behavior, they don't need to tell me whether do I believe in God or don't I believe in God. Because it's because of all these God, 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 God. That's why Nigeria is the way that it is today. That's why Nigeria it is the way it is today. All these pastors all over the places in Catholic Church, all these block rosaries all over the places, and all of us are here now in diaspora. If our country, with all the churches and all the belief in God, is working, why are we all in foreign lands? We can't even answer the question. We keep going round and round the circle. And again, I'm not disputing anybody's religion, because nobody can tell me about Buddhism, because I've already tested Catholic Church, so I know exactly what it is. So nobody should come and present the word of God to me, because I know. And now I'm a Buddhist. I'm a much, for me, I'm going to defend myself.
Yeah, please,
I
when
gave,
you are through, I would like to check in.
yeah, go ahead. I'm done.
Okay, right now, thank you.
hold on one second. Hold on one second.
All right.
Everyone is entitled to what they believe in. Whether you want to believe in God or nobody wants to believe in God. But at the end of the day, like we've often said, we agree that we must be a reflection, a good reflection. I beg your pardon, not just a reflection, a good reflection of what we believe in for the good of the society. And I said this earlier, that some people argue that the white man gives us the Bible. Let me go by that argument. Yes, they do, probably, which is they gave it to us doesn't mean that they are the one they were inspired to write it. But they read it literally. They apply it to an extent to their system. But we spiritualize everything that concerns us, and that is why we find ourselves where we are today. What do I mean by that? I believe in forgiveness, and God encouraged forgiveness. But the same God encouraged that justice must be done where it is applicable. You must pay for the crime that you commit. And because that is missing in our society, Nigeria and Africa, people get away with, and I keep highlighting this, and over time I have highlighted this. I think I've deleted. Okay, it's here. I have highlighted this statement over time, that since sentence for evil are not carried out immediately, and there are many ways of escaping the penalty, the heart of men become fully set on running the risks of doing evil. And that, if we look at, there's no perfect system anywhere in the world, but they try to do checks and balances, just like what is happening in Jeffrey Epstein case, what happened in Donald Trump, and many others. But in our system or in our culture, we see where people commit, and this is not just ordinary people, these are people in high power, commit this atrocity, and nobody does anything about it. And this quote is coming from the same Bible that most people said, oh, it is a wrong book. If the Bible encourages immediate punishment, or it encourages people should pay for their crime. Then we should be careful how we now write off the book, because what we are asking for today is where people are held accountable. It's all about accountability. No matter what religion we practice, it's all about accountability. For crying out loud, Tinubu is a Muslim, let's be honest. If today he is doing the right thing, or he did the right thing prior to becoming a president, and he's doing the right thing, Madam Nelly, will you care about his religion? Let's be honest with ourselves.
No.
Exactly.
Listen, I've said this to you times and times. Even as I speak today, I remember I've also highlighted, when we talk about God, what you're calling God, me, I'm also calling that God, but probably I'm not giving it your GOG name.
Yeah.
But I always, in my philosophy, we talk about the Buddhist gods. All right, we talk about that. So whichever way you're doing yours, I'm not criticizing you. But what I'm saying is that before anybody comes in my face to tell me, do I believe in God, I need to look at your behavior. The behavior is what I'm looking at. I mean, there's so many women here in New Jersey, they will send me a flyer, oh, come to our fellowship. Our mother is in Onitsha. Come to fellowship, come to fellowship. And I'm looking at them, one single integrity they don't have. But you keep telling me, come to your fellowship. Come to your fellowship to do what? The one or two of them that I have attended one time, they will, as soon as I walk in, they give me a Bible, they give me an envelope to contribute money. I say, are you for real? What are you showing me that is different, that makes me a much better human being? I'm not going to tell you that. Again, I told people, when I say that I'm a Buddhist, I'm not a Nimbutsu. I'm not Tibet. I'm not Zen Buddhism. I'm not the monk. No, I am Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism. The original Buddha started from India, Shakyamuni, and then Nichiren Daishonin from Japan. When you look at these people's behavior, is different. Is different. I've said it also in this platform. There was a time Shakyamuni, because of when he was preaching to people, and then the government was so angry with him. Why is he converting people? They set him up with a prostitute. The prostitute came to where he was preaching to people and said, oh, you pregnanted me. And Shakyamuni looked at her, didn't say a word. Meanwhile, the disciples that were engaged and listening to him, they began to doubt him immediately. And then when all the disciples have shown that they really didn't trust him before, he then raised his head and looked at the woman and said to the woman, only you and I know who has that baby. The moment he finished that sentence, a mighty wind came and blew the woman's clothes up. The woman was not pregnant. The woman was a setup for him. Then the bow flew in the air. When I read that, what did that teach me? What did I learn from that reading? I learned that if I know that I didn't do anything wrong to you, but you want to crucify me or you want to kill me, I'm not going to change my words. Just like sometimes when people are being arrested by the police, and then they will say, oh, because I was tortured, then you admit to something you didn't do. You admit to something you didn't do. So for me, when I read that passage, I say to myself, it does not matter how much people accuse me of something, provided that I know I did not do that, I'm going to stay calm and I'm not going to retaliate. That's what I learned from reading it. So what I'm saying to anybody, you are reading your Bible, you're reading your Quran, whatever you're reading, please apply it in your life. Because if you apply it in your life, our country, as even human beings, we're going to be better. Because under those circumstances, I keep saying it, will I hurt you no matter what you have done to me? I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to betray you. It doesn't matter how much anybody. If I was this girl they call Beta Edu, why will I get into that position? And I'm already grabbing and grabbing. What am I grabbing? What am I going to do with it? Just pay me my salary. I'm fine with it. Why is she doing that? Why?
Can I come in? Can I come in? Can I come in?
I'm coming, Liguse. In respect to
Okay.
Peter Andrew, according to record, that is not the first time she's involved in matters of
electricity. I only bring it up because then she goes to church. She goes to church.
Really, anybody can go. It's like anybody can go to, could be a Buddha. For example, you just mentioned Shakyamuni, who was tempted or was challenged in terms of the what do you call it, the pregnancy story you just gave. I mean, there are instances. For example, Joseph was tempted by Potiphar's wife.
Yes.
Potiphar's wife, and what he did was to run away about it. Nobody believed him at all. He was in prison, and even the people he helped in prison, one of them forgot him completely. And so it is like my argument is this, that whatever it is that we say, like you rightly said, we must not run down anybody's religion. It's not in our place to do so. Even if we want to bring the person to our own side, you can't condemn their religion, because you're already setting up a war already by the moment you go with condemnation. And Jesus Christ never condemned anybody. Now, sorry, before I come to you, I want to highlight some comment. This is a problem we always have here, Madam Nelly. Somebody said here, everybody must not be talking the Bible. So if everybody is not talking the Bible, who are the people that are designated to talk about it? It's a book that is everywhere. I get a little bit confused.
Electricity, don't worry about people
Please,
who are.
please, I want to say something concerning this thing.
Yeah.
Because one thing you need to understand in this life we are living, that sometimes in Nigeria we stretch religions, especially Christianity, in a way that it has become something of people who use it as a mockery. But I want to bring something here now. You know, most of us, we hear about the war that happened in Liberia war. I want to use this thing to give an illustration of life we live and understanding we have. If we watch Liberia war, if there's a play, the movie they write sometimes in April. So that Liberia war, I was listening to a woman. The woman, her husband is a pastor, and she is also a pastor. But because of the war between Houthis and the Tutsis, now the man is from Tutsis, while the woman is from Houthis. Now there's something that happens when the war was going. Those boys, they enter inside the church and they butcher the pastor. They kill the pastor. Very young boys, they kill the pastor. But after the war ended, so some of these boys were taken to prison, and this woman said that the death of her husband will not be in vain. And she began to go to prison to visit all these young guys, began to visit them all along the line. But there's something that happened. One of those boys that killed the husband, the man, the boy himself, that used knife to cut the butcher, the husband, and the only son that she has, came to her on the court one day and knelt down before her. I said to her, "Woman, I recognize your face. I'm the one that killed your husband and your son. Please forgive me." She was busy. The young boy was busy asking her for forgiveness. And she went out and cried and came back to the court the next day and said to her, "Because you have made this confession and recognize I'm the one that is a wife of that man that you killed, I have forgiven you." I hope you understand that scenario.
Yeah,
Forgiveness.
I'm coming. I'm not through with this thing. I'm not through with this thing now. She said, "I'm forgiving you," and left. Do you know that after some years, government began to release all these boys? Do you know the woman go to that prison and adopted the boy? I said, the boy, I don't have anybody in my life. I don't have a husband, I don't have children, I don't have any other thing, but I'm going to adopt you as my own son. She adopted the boy as in her own son and took her home.
Your point is forgiveness. Would that be correct?
I want you to understand, not only forgiveness. She now, if you look at her personally, she looked into what happened. She was hurt, but at the end of the day, she had an individual life to live, to forget everything that happened and move on. Now that life I teach her, that teach other people something that concerning the anger that does not go down before the sunset and all the rest of them. She forgive and forget everything and pick the boy's own. And the Bible said that, I want us to understand something. The Bible said that I have created good and bad, then you choose. And you know, there's something that God created us in this life. God created us with a matter of choice. It's a choice.
Okay.
If you choose to be bad,
I think we've emphasized that is a choice, and forgiveness is standard. You can't forget. That is not possible. You can't. Nobody forgets anything. Madam Nelly didn't forget what happened to her. She forget. I didn't forget.
I think another thing you need to add is that we can tell stories about what people did, but
Yes.
I think the biggest fundamental thing is to ask ourselves, if I'm in that position, what will
are
I
you
do?
be able to do it?
You telling me what another person did?
That is
It's
the
a good
point.
story, but it's irrelevant. Because if you cannot replicate that, whatever you read about that woman is non and valid.
That is why
Okay,
I asked you a question, Igu.
yeah.
When I asked that question in terms of David and Ahithophel, putting you in the position of that. Yes, these are stories, but what will you do if the table turns around and it is you? Like, listen, we can talk about this story, but when we're now facing it individually,
Are
it
we
will
not
be
able to understand it?
a different story.
Now let me.
Hold on 1 second, please. And I said it earlier that this is to apply to relationship in the sense of any and every relationship. Any, up to employer, employee, colleagues, father to daughter, daughter to father, father to mother, mother, father to anything. Because let's be realistic here. They said a man's enemy is among his own people. We all are familiar with that statement. And for even Jesus Christ to say, love your enemy, is acknowledging that we are going to have enemies. And I did state for the record, before anyone comes to that point for me to say, Madam Nelly is my enemy, I must have, I repeat for the record, I must have evidence of such, or else I will be falsely accusing her. Evidence in the sense that I must have that evidence that she either directly or indirectly caused me harm. That is the simplest definition of who an enemy is. And it could be your partner together, and he or she did something that probably put your life at risk or whatever it is, and you are not together again. You are still required to what? Not to hold grudges. That is the basic thing we're talking about here. Not to hold grudges. By the time we hold grudges, it turns into something else. And if I have the opportunity, because I'm holding grudges against Madam Nelly for years, and I have the opportunity comes up for me to do anything to harm her, I will do it. I've now become something else that I shouldn't be. That is the purpose of this issue. David he abuses power, and we will come across oppressors in our life, those who abuse powers in our life. Should we keep quiet and not speak out? The answer is no. You have to speak out. You have to address it. You have to bring it to the person's attention. If you don't like something, speak it out. Say it if you don't like it. But The exclusive right of revenge belongs to what? To the Almighty. Whichever way we want to call the person, the addressing. We don't have that exclusive right of revenge because it creates problem. Remember, we say a clean hand and a pure heart. If you follow these principles in Psalm, I highlighted Psalm 15, Psalm 20, Psalm 24, and Ezekiel 18, it says, you will receive the blessing. That means I don't need to do much, to be in all honesty, to get blessed. All I need to do is not to think evil against you. Against you. When I mean you that I am saying that you are looking at me, that you know me. I must not plan, think evil in any shape or form, even if you have caused me harm. Even if you have caused me harm. It's difficult, but not impossible. It is hard, but not impossible. The pain will be there, but it is possible to let go. Because if we don't, we are chaining ourselves. And I keep telling people, some people ask me, I mean, I've had issue with people, and they say, are you upset? I say, I'm upset. I say, listen, I get angry, I can shout. If you hear me shout, I shout. But I'm not, I can shout. But I had to train myself. I'm telling you this, I had to train myself not to hold grudges. It's not that I have never had grudges before. I will be lying to you if I've never had grudges before. I'll be lying to you if I have not planned revenge before. But I had to train myself because I'm doing myself more harm than good. Does that mean the relationship will be cordial afterward? No. Definitely no. I will give you an example. Saul wanted to kill David several times. It is recorded that 23 attempts were made upon David by Saul. It got to a point, Saul now said, David, my son, come over me. Come to me. David said, no way, I'm not coming over. This man had a plan to kill me. Think I'm stupid? I'm not stupid. So I'm not going to come. I can hear you from where you are. You speak. And what I will respond. Because I know if I come, there's evidence is there that you've made several attempts to kill me. So why would I come and dance around you? Come on, let's be realistic here. So that's why I say we must take it literally, wherein it's all possible. We must apply the same principle, simple, grammatical, literally looked at it. And this cloud of spirituality, we need to get rid of it. I'm just being honest with us. And we will. And I will yield the floor to Dan the man has gone to give a closing
Please, I want to say something concerning this thing we are saying, because one is that
I'm not God, though. I'm just doing something because I'm listening to you guys, but I'm busy because I'll go to work in 2 hours time. That's why.
Okay, Dan. Okay, hold on. Let's Dan. We're about to round up. I'm about to round up. So
yeah,
I
I
want you
want
to give. Yeah, hold on, Iguse. I want to give you guys the floor to give your closing respect to the
remark.
matter. I'll go with
Okay.
you first since you're busy.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dan.
Okay, what I want to say about this, because I was listening now, and to make my final submission about this forgiveness and things like that, I developed a principle in life. When somebody hurts me, and I know that this person really hurts me, it's not easy to hurt me because I'm a free thinker. But if it happens that
Dan,
I know,
Dan, hold that thought first, please. Somebody just highlighted something. Just give me 1 second. Hello, Hall. At Electricity, this is Charlo. When you say revenge is of the Lord, whom will he use? Himself or human? Okay, let me
Electricity,
attempt.
allow down to finish. This very topic is a different day. Let
Okay,
that.
all right. Okay, Dan, go ahead.
yes, like I was saying, I'm a free thinker, so it's difficult for somebody to hurt me. In fact, if you hurt me, self, the next moment, if I see you, I will have forgotten, I will greet you. But the tactics I developed to stay alive today and be successful today is that when somebody hurts me, right, I will run away from you. You understand? Because I will be so afraid to come back to. I've forgiven you, but you won't see me close to you again, no matter who you are, whether you're my father, you're my mother, you're my brother or sisters. I'm making myself clear. I will run away entirely from you, because I've seen that some people, when they hurt you, they will tell you, they will kneel down. Some even will prostrate. Please match my head. I'm sorry, I'll do this. For you to drop your guard. If you forgive them and open your door to them, they kill you. So I develop a tactic. If you hurt me and I know that you really hurt me, I run away from you. This is my tactics, and this is where I want to end my topic about that revenge and forgiveness. I don't
Thank you,
revenge,
Dan.
I'll just run away from you.
Whether you run away or not, let's go by you run away. You are still obliged to forgive. Even you
No,
can
I'm
run away.
forgiving, but
Okay, all right, fair
I will
enough.
not have anything to do with that person again.
Okay, all right. That's Madam Nelly, the floor is yours. Thank you, Dan. Dan, still stay there, okay? Don't go yet. Madam Nelly, the floor is yours.
Am I giving my final submission or what?
I don't think so, because there are some comments here that I just need to highlight. But just okay, hold on 1 second. Let me highlight a few comments, then I'll come to you if that's okay. Just give me 1 second. I just need to highlight some comments here. Someone said everybody must not be a Bible teacher. Of course, not everybody is a Bible teacher. So Dan is not a Bible teacher.
And electricity for the person who said everybody must not be a Bible teacher. You see, it's really wrong to just be throwing out phrases without the correct meaning. What does this person mean, though?
Well, I can't. If we start going back to them now, it's going to be honestly. I'm just highlighting it. I know, because if you ask them to provide clarification, it becomes they sometimes they don't provide the clarification. I don't know how, so I will just highlight some few ones that I know. Let's see. You see, this is where some deception comes in. You see, this one, I heard this a lot when I was growing up in a listen. So Logos and Rema, it doesn't. See, this is. Madam, actually, you are right. I think we'll leave this for another day. I yield the floor to you. Go ahead, Madam Nelly.
I think you are not really here teaching anybody Bible, but I said to people, if you know whatever religion that you want to attend it, and make sure you look deep into it. You also mentioned the problem that we have, especially in our Black communities, no matter what part of Black country that we come out of, is that we don't take time to read. We don't take time. We rely on somebody else to read and tell us. You got to read. You have to read. And for you to read, especially if you're reading anything that has to do with religion, you must ask for wisdom so you can understand. You are not reading a literature book. Eze must go to school. No, that's not what you're reading. Because if you don't understand it, you're not going to apply it. And if you don't apply it, then keep on going to church every Sunday. You know, a pastor just said in Nigeria to people that when they start working, their first paycheck belongs to him. You're asking people.
We are covering that next week.
Okay, okay. Again, people in that church are going to believe him. You know.
Actually, they clapped for him. Some people
yes,
clapped for him.
And nobody is asking
questions.
Nobody is asking a widower that is in that church, have you fed your children?
Have you fed your children?
Nobody is asking that.
Have you paid your rent?
I've said it before. People give away their power to somebody else and they claim they go to church. So whichever way you want to look at it, I'm not criticizing what you're doing, but if you're talking to me as a human being directly, please don't bring, oh, do I believe in God? Because my behavior, with me being a Buddhist, everything I read about Buddhism, I apply it in my life. I apply it in my life. I don't need to hurt you. I don't need to serve in a government and carry all the money into my pocket because it's stealing. It's stealing. And I will not be happy if I do that. I will not be happy. Buddhism taught me, until I became a Buddhist, I learned that we have two sets of happiness, relative and absolute. And a lot of human beings gravitate to relative happiness. Me, I need absolute happiness. The difference between the two, as absolute happiness, you're happy at all time. Regardless of whatever you're going through, you're happy. So it's not question of whether I don't criticize anyone. Whichever one you want to do, good luck. But I want to see it in your behavior. And then you and I will talk, because let me tell you, you cannot. I used to think that way myself, but you can't run away from everybody. You're still going to relate, because you don't want to be an island. But there's a key that you could use also. But again, it requires a lot of talk for you to understand where I'm going. I do understand you don't want that person to hurt you again, but you will have a bigger wisdom to really know how to maneuver that, rather than saying that, oh, you will run and don't want to do anything with that person anymore. But you will guide yourself when you are dealing with,
But madam, that was what you were saying, that they have to show it's not just calling God, but their behavior doesn't reflect calling God. They will tell you that they have that for you to forgive them, but they still keep that character with them.
Yeah. So again, I'm saying that you will walk. When you're relating with them, your antenna will be sharp. You're not going to, put your guard.
You're not going to let your guards down.
Yes, down with
I think that's
you keep on moving. And again, this is one thing Buddhism taught me. Rather than being upset with that person, I'm chanting for that person's happiness. Because for me, every human being, regardless of what country you come from, regardless of what religion you believe in, you have a Buddha nature in you, regardless. So that's why when I say I will chant for your happiness, I'm chanting towards that Buddha nature you have inside you. Maybe some people, it might be that God, because I've also said in the Bible, somewhere it says, God said to you, I've created you in my image, then go. So Buddhism is calling it, you have that Buddha nature. So I will not destroy you. No, rather, I will send you prayers for you to be happy. Because if I'm happy, I wish your authentic happiness. So whatever you're thinking will boomerang back to you if it's evil. You understand?
Thank you, Madam Nelly. Before I come to you, Eagles Air, I need to do a bit of, I don't know if it's pushback or not, because this guy has been saying this over time. And I have issue with it, because the reason why I have issue with it, like you rightly said, Madam Nelly and everyone here, that we all should read it for ourselves. And the Bible is not for literal consumption. That is incorrect. That is absolutely incorrect. Okay. And why I said it's incorrect is, if you go to Deuteronomy 29:29, if you are familiar with the scripture, I don't know who you are, but I'm beginning to feel that you are maybe a pastor or whatever it is, and you are doing certain whether damage control, I don't know.
Well, if
But
he's
it's
a pastor, he should be able to be authentic. But
but it is a matter of revelation. Listen, everything has been revealed unto us. Everything. Let me get Deuteronomy 29:29. Just give me 1 second, please. Let me read it out. Deuteronomy 29:29. Where are thou, Deuteronomy? It says that everything has been revealed to us for us to keep what is commanded. The secret thing of the Lord belongeth unto the Lord. But the things that are revealed unto us is for us and for our children to keep the law. Everything has been revealed unto us. You want to tell me you don't know what it means, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not. What else do you want to be revealed again? I don't understand this issue of it's a matter of revelation. Revelation on what? No, revelation on what? I don't understand. And these are the problems, these are the issues causing problem. And somebody will tell you can't read your Bible to understand. You need somebody, for crying out loud. even the Bible says that his commandments are not grievous, meaning that it's easy. How would God want me to keep his commandment and he makes it so difficult for me to keep that commandment? That means it's not a fair God, it's a wicked God. If he wants me to keep his commandment, he makes it easy for me to understand and to keep it. And you are coming saying it's a matter of revelation on what? What do you need to be revealed? What is there to reveal for you? That you should know, this is a fake drug, you are importing it. What did you need to involve? Do you not know this is a fake drug? You knew before you ordered for it. So what is there to be revealed again? And this is how they just play on our intelligence and play on our minds and as they say, cash us mugu. I'm sorry that I'm getting a little bit upset here right now. Eagle said the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Electricity. This kind of conversation, I love you so much. But in my own submission, there's something I want to say. Your life you live today is a reflection of what you know. The life you live today is a reflection of what you know. That's what the Bible said that my people perish because of lack of what? Knowledge. They lack knowledge. The knowledge of what you know help you to go far in life. Now, I want us to understand something. There is 3 animals I want us to look into it. What is that animals? We talk about ego. We talk about serpent, being snake. And we talk about being which animal again? Ego, snake or serpent. And I will still remember the other animal. Now, if we watch serpent is dove, yeah. Talk about dove. If you watch a serpent is very clever in reading and in movement of anything I want to move. Based on what Dan said. Now, somebody may offend you and you have already forgiven the person. But what we need to do as a serpent who is wise, in another way around, is to that one thing that will lead to that thing again, you avoid it. Not avoiding the person, but something that will lead to that thing that you need to avoid so that it will not repeat itself again. Now, be like a dove, you need to calm down and be watching what is going to happen. Then in other way around, be like an ego. No one to swift over some certain situation. No one to swift and dodge some certain things and go your way. That's why I say the life you live today is a reflection of what you know. If you're ignorant of doing the right thing, you keep on dancing in the darkness or your eyes being blind. So when the knowledge you have today determine how far you go in life. If you're not knowledgeable enough, you will continue to face a lot of problems and a lot of problem criticism and all this of them. Now, I want us to know this thing in life. Naturally, somebody must offend you. You see this life we are living, somebody must offend you. But the way you handle the offense determines whom you are. If you handle the offense in a wrong way, it shows the kind of knowledge and wisdom you have. If you handle it in a wise way, know that somebody must offend you. But look at the offense. What causes the offense? What really leads to this offense? Then when you're able to understand how the offense comes, you know how to handle something. There's one principle I have in life. If you're the type that used to curse somebody, you're the type that used to raise a curse against somebody, and I'm trying to correct you, try to mingle with you, correct you over that, and you continue that way. I see it as a part of your life. I see it as your own life. And if I immediately I see it as your own life, there's nothing you do about that thing. You make me to be angry again. It has become your own life. I've seen it in your own life. It cannot be wiped away from you. That's one of the principles I used to use.
I'm a bit lost.
Sorry.
Can you go back again? You said you were make something reference to a cause. Can you go back?
I'm trying to say that if you know in Nigeria, like in Edo State, if you go to Edo State, I don't know if anybody from Edo State here. If you go to Edo State now, before you connect, they say Obu must kill you, Obu will kill you, Obu this and that. I hope you understand what I mean by that. There's somebody that used to, anytime we come in contact with that person, the person will open his mouth and begin to say all marvelous things, all kind of things against you. Now, if you are the type that in relationship with me, in connection with me, and you always say such a thing, you always open your mouth to say something I don't understand, you begin to say something wrong against me, I'm trying to correct you over the situation, and you continue in that way. Next thing I will do, the principle I will apply that this is part of you, this is your own life, it cannot be changed. And once I say that is your own life, cannot be changed. So what happened? Whatever thing he said against me, I will not pick offense over it. Because I have seen it, that is your own way.
Okay.
But the only thing I will try to do, whatever relationship or connection I'm going to have with you that will lead you to begin to say such a thing, I'll try to avoid it and cut it off. But that does not mean I will run away from you, but I will cut some certain off from you.
Okay, Dad, don't run away, please, because I can offend you tomorrow and you run away from me now. If I offend you on this platform now, that means you won't come again. Please don't.
Running away cannot bring solution, cannot solve any issue. Because if you run away, you meet other person, but the best thing to do, develop a platform that he used to do what correct
don't
such a
forget we are
thing.
all different animals. That is my way, and it's been working for me.
So,
It works for
I'm
me.
going to do something right now. Just give me some few minutes, please. I'm going to do something right now. Someone put out this statement. David didn't plan to kill Uriah. He disobeyed the king and he was killed. Now, that is incorrect. Okay. I'm not used to saying that, but I'm used to saying that. That is incorrect. And that is pushing false narrative. So I want the audience to take note of this statement. It is incorrect. It is pushing a false narrative. David planned to kill Uriah. Initially, he asked him to go
You
to
are
his
correct.
house so that he can say that he is the one that slept with the wife, but Uriah refused to. David planned, orchestrated. He sent a letter to Joab that Joab should put Uriah in the hottest forefront of the battle and people should withdraw back. Who gives such a decision? So this, for those in the comment section reading this is incorrect. It is false and it is a false narrative. So I am going to be doing that now for the record, because this broadcast will be here for many years and some people will come across it. And so that is why I will be calling out some certain false statements for the purpose of for everyone, so that we know what it is. I like this. I've highlighted it before. Like whatever Buddhism teaches, Christianity, everything is a matter of one's interpretation and personal relationship with God. So they've asked so many questions, and I will actually. This is 2 hours 51 minutes. I thought plan of staying here 1 hour. We've gone up to almost 3 hours now, but I would like to thank every one of you for joining this platform. Like I said, we'll be doing broadcasts on Friday and Sunday, time permitting.
Please, electricity. There's something I want to ask. This there's number they wrote here that concern WhatsApp group kindly
Yeah, I'm the one
familiarize.
that put it there. Yeah, if
Okay,
you're
you're the one that
interested.
put it.
Yeah, I'm the one
Please
that put
give
it.
more explanation about this thing.
Look, I see what is there. I joined the Pure Tribe WhatsApp group. Okay, it's something I set up. The description, the detail is there. The guidelines is there. It's simple guidelines. Okay, and it will be up every time. So if you want to take down the number, take down the number. Just follow the instruction there. Okay, it doesn't matter what religion you are. But what I'm trying to do is this, like this comment somebody put here. Where is that reference? Madam Nelly, where is it again? 1 second. Where is it? 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 Come on, where are you? Yeah, this comment here. Whatever Buddhism teaches, Christianity teaches also. Whatever Christianity teaches, Buddhism teaches also. Everything is a matter of one's interpretation and personal relationship with God. What this means is, like what we've been emphasizing, it is not in the reading, it is in the doing. Okay? It is in the doing. So let's even say I'm sitting next close to God, and I'm not doing right by Madam Nelly or Eagles Air or Dan. To what purpose is that? What is the usefulness of that? It's absolutely useless.
Now you come to my point. What is the necessity, or what is the benefit of following somebody who has hurt you, who has not changed his way? They'll just come and tell you, oh, please forgive me, now devil push me. But you are forgiving them, but they keep In fact, they get
But
worse.
Madam Nelly explained to you, Dan, that listen, you have to not deal with the person
Yeah, I
with
don't have that
wisdom.
intelligence to deal with those people. My
Don't say
intelligence
you
tells me
don't. You have
run
that
away from that
intelligence.
person.
You know, no, Dan, you have that intelligence to deal with them. No. I would disagree with you on
Yeah,
that.
but excuse me, Mr. Sorry, brother, please just give me 30 seconds.
Madam Nelly, help me to lecture
Yeah,
Dan.
just give me 30 seconds to make that point before you conclude my style. You know why? I told you I'm a free thinker. I don't have time to worry myself on somebody's attitude that refuses to change. I have a lot to do in my life. So when I see that I have a friend or a brother or a father or a mother, because it's very serious, and that person wanted me dead or wanted to destroy my life, and I found that out, and I think this person is very close to me, but the only way for me to survive, because I have one life, when they kill you, you are gone. So my mind tells me, if this person is dangerous to you and he has offended you, I don't say I've not offended people. If I offend you once, my brother, I will never do it again. But some people, they offend you once, you forgive them, they do the worst, and they
Okay,
will say,
Dan.
oh boy, now your brother.
Let
That's
me
what I'm
try. Let
talking
me try. Let me see. Let me try.
about.
I gave you an example, okay, of Saul and David. Okay. According to records, 23 attempts were made by Saul to kill David. 23 times he made that attempt. And at every time, David escaped it. And now David knew that Saul wants to kill him. He did not go for the dinner that Saul prepared. So I'm telling you what David did so that you can apply the same thing as well too. So I want to kill you. You know I want to kill you. And I give you food to eat. Dan, will you eat it? Let's be
I will not
honest.
even go for that dinner.
so you have that common sense then. So why do you say you don't have that common sense?
No, what I'm saying, I would have avoided you. I will not even see you again in my life. Not to talk
Well,
of
if
going to.
that is the path you want to take, I'm not going to condemn you or judge you for that.
Yeah.
But like what Madam Nelly said, that you can't be an island. You can't isolate
No, there are a
yourself.
lot of friends. There are a lot of
Okay,
people.
fair enough. I mean that is fair enough. But
But also, Dan, can I also tell you that if you did not change your fundamental darkness that attracts you to such people that does these things, these type of things to you, well, you said there's so many other friends. What will be happening is that you will meet another friend with a different face, but it's really the same type of person you're meeting again. So basically, one thing that I learned as a Buddhist is that I need to change my fundamental darkness and I will stop attracting those people in my lane. And that's what I've been doing, you know. So the things that, again, whatever you're saying, I've experienced it myself. But then by changing my fundamental darkness, the way that I look at those things, I then began to develop a way for those things not to happen. And like the story that I shared here, ever since I had that relationship with my son's father, I don't have relationships anymore. I have not had any male relationship that went that way. You know what? Why? It's not because people have not been approaching me, but I continue to do my human revolution because you know before then when somebody says something, I trust them with my whole heart. Now, by doing that human revolution, I then began to find out why was I so much trusting initially that I don't see, I don't look, I don't see the handwritings on the wall. Then I began to gain that courage and began to gain that wisdom. So now when a guy meets me and throws that four-letter words, I love you, the first thing that I will ask the person is, can you please give me a definition of what that means? I don't just jump into the relationship anymore. I will look. Is this the type of person I want to be with? If it's not, I will not even entertain it. So the simple thing is that by me chanting Namyo Horingekyo, a lot has changed about me. I look at things differently. I even with girlfriends, I don't just hop in and make girlfriends because I want to have a friend. No, whatever friendship that I'm getting into, it has to have substance. I don't just do friendship just because I want to have a friend. No, and the things that I was hoping to before 1986 is not what I hop into now anymore. The things that I value right now wasn't what I was valuing then. Even when I did my doctorate, I didn't go to do doctorate because I wanted to have a doctorate beside my name. No, I said, what will be my legacy? What can I do for the youths? Because even the program we had on Friday, I stated, all of us, we have made the mistake of relationships. But now, how do I change it? By then sharing with the younger ones. Don't make this mistake that I made. Don't make this mistake. Because another thing, which will be for a different topic, is that many of we women, when we don't have the type of love that we need in a family, does it make us want to run? Let a guy give us this love. And then by running, we then get into the wrong hands. So then what I did was, when my son had his daughter, I then saw the way my son was relating to the daughter, and I kept encouraging it. Because when a father shows a daughter a real love, a genuine love, then that daughter will not have low self-esteem or become so insecure. Let me run to a boy. A boy will tell me they love me, because that love that you were yearning to get from your father, many of us don't have it. And as Nigerians, we don't talk about these things because it's a taboo for us to talk about. So then we keep running to start a family or start a relationship with a boy. And then at the end, it crashes because we didn't run into it with good reasons. You know, are you guys understanding what I'm trying to say? So there's a deep traumatic wound, especially we Nigerians, that we really need to change, and we really make sure that our younger ones do not make those mistakes that we made. You know? So again, my Buddhist practice showed me all these things. You have to love yourself before somebody will come and tell you, oh, I love you. If you don't love yourself, don't allow it. I don't care how much, whether it's a woman, oh, I love you, babe, what? No, it doesn't matter how much I call you babe. You have to love yourself first. Before then, you can shower that love to somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? So all these things I learned as a Buddhist. So whatever, if you also want to read your Bible, read the Bible to know that you have that power, you have self-esteem for yourself. Don't wait for a man to come into your life to give you a sunshine. Bring out the sunshine yourself. And when that man comes, the man will enjoy the sunshine with you. But if you're waiting, oh, let me get married to be happy, are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? If I don't tell you today that since 1989 I've not dated, just seeing my face, just on this platform, is there anything that is indicating to you that I'm not a happy woman? I'm very, very happy. If it happens tomorrow that I will run into somebody that matches my life, so be it. But if not, oh, I'm happy living my life. The little that I can do it. I don't have to bring in a man for me to be happy. Hell no. But if the right person comes, yes, because I don't want people to say, oh, she's so sufficient, she doesn't want. That's not what I'm saying. Get what I'm saying. Man or no man should not be a reason for me to be happy. Oh, we all have happiness. Build it yourself. Don't
All
wait
right,
for.
thank you. There's an argument going on here. I would like to highlight the argument here between McNally and Esau, and there's a pattern. So as I reckon, we do not believe in the same God. There's something here. McNally said, "I meant every no." Esau said, "I meant every word," and McNally replies, "Okay, your opinion, your entire opinion. However, it does not make it right. I hope you know that." And so he replies, "So please, can you refer? Yeah, this is what I'm looking for." Says so. Please, can you reference to a Bible passage? Remember, it's a literature book. If we are arguing about Shakespeare, we have to reference where that statement was made. Or if we are talking, like Madam Nelly, if you are talking about your Buddhist book, somebody can ask you and say, where is that in that Buddhist book? So, if ESO can please respond, because I'm curious about this. I don't want to say much about it, but I want you to please provide the reference where you are referencing in the Bible, in that literature book with the title, the Bible. Could you please provide that what you are because this is what happened, Madam Nelly, or anybody. People say things hiding under the opinion, or they push false narrative hiding behind that word. It's my opinion. Fine.
That's why
It,
people, if you reference something in the Bible, then give the page number so that
uh,
people will go and read it.
people exactly, so that we can read it. I mean, everything I have said there, I reference where it can be found in the Bible, so that people can read it and ask questions and seek for clarification. And that is the purpose of this. It's not for us to argue or to fight each other or to condemn each other. We are trying to get, let me put it this way, beside getting individual our life right, we want to get Nigeria right. That's just and this is part of getting Nigeria right. It's not just,
Also,
it's not.
remember, to get Nigeria right, we, all of us as an individual, the change begins with all of us first. You can't get Nigeria right if you, as an individual, you don't understand what you're doing.
Oh yeah, of course. That's why I said we have to get ourselves right first, because, like they said, the popular saying that the change starts with me, it starts with you, and so he provided this scripture. I know this is what he's going to provide. McNally is Second Peter first 2:20 to 22, that the scriptures were not given by man's interpretation, but these men were moved. If I'm correct from what I'm reading, I'm not opening it. These men were moved by what? By the Holy Spirit. So I don't understand what Esau is actually getting at. Because if I am saying,
Electricity, try not to put so much energy with SO.
no,
Because
Madam Nelly, we are here for
I know
educational
that it's
purpose.
for education, but I really will not educate somebody
Okay.
who
All
But
doesn't.
right.
I must say that I have to go. I have to go, please, because
All right, no problem. Thanks, then. I appreciate
thank you
you.
very much. I'm going
We
to
we are
work,
here every Sunday if you are
and
free,
I
and
enjoyed
Friday.
myself so much here. I learned a lot. Thanks.
Okay, okay. In fact, we are here 3 hours now. But so we have a broadcast next week Saturday, because we're not going to do it on Friday. We want to accommodate few people, because we do it very late on Friday. I'm still thinking about it anyway. But we are here every Sunday. This is more convenient, because even though it's early where you have Madam Nelly, I don't know what time it is there with you, Eagles Air, but I think it's more convenient. It gives the people opportunity to be in it. Timing is a problem, is a major concern, but I'll work
Yeah.
around it. I
For
would
for
like
me,
to.
I don't have issue because most of this time now is evening and like time is to 9 here now 8:32. So
PM,
PM.
PM or AM.
Yeah, PM. So I don't
Uh,
have an issue with time. I'm already at home.
okay, it's 5:03 here now, so it should be around 10 something where Madam Nelly
It's
is.
10:03. It's 10:03.
10:03. So okay, I think this time is okay to discuss everything and anything, whether it's politics. I want to leave most of politics and it's to Rudolph and others. I want to deal with relationship and other aspects of it. I don't know if it's
Yes, relationships is our behaviors needs to change.
Madam Nelly, I am going to reach out to you. We're going to have a meeting during the
Okay.
week and
Okay.
to tailor this thing more as we
Okay.
go along. So I'd like to thank everyone on the platform and those in the comment section, whether we agree or disagree, it's neither here or there. We will come again next week, God willing. Have a lovely week.
Mr. Ike, enjoy yourself in India.
I
Thank
will.
you. It's really nice.